So welcome back to the Sheffield Arena then for our live game here this afternoon, an afternoon face-off, a New Year's Eve celebration of hockey with the Sheffield Steelers and the Manchester Storm. As we've been saying all through the build-up, a massive, massive game, whatever the relative league positions happen to be of these two teams at any one time. At the moment, it's the Manchester Storm playing catch-up. The Sheffield Steelers so far this season, all conquering. The Storm Steelers matches are momentum all of their own. We've had the three keys to the game, we've heard from the players, we've had all the build-up. There's only one way to do it now. We've just got to get straight into it. To take you through the opening minutes of the game, here's Seth Bennett.
Thank you very much, Colin. The referee this evening is going to be Simon Kirkham, one of the most experienced officials in British hockey, with Paul Staniforth and Marco Conan running the lines this afternoon. The Sheffield Steelers in their usual home kit of white with teal and orange flashes on it. The Manchester Storm in their far more menacing black with blue, silver and purple. Dave Trofimenkoff is between the pipes for the Storm. Their starting lineup: left defence, Troy Newmeyer; right defence, Chris Miller; right wing, Marty Flickle; through the centre, Trevor Gallant; and on this left wing, it's Barry Moore. For the Steelers, it's Dale Craigwell between David Longstaff and Jason Weaver; Adam Smith and Jeff Sebastian on defence, and way down to the left-hand side, it's Mike O'Neill as Kirkham drops the puck, and we're underway. Immediately, the Storm pick up the puck, and Newmeyer has it in his own zone. The big defenseman looking to skate away, he dumps that one round. Steelers should collect through Jeff Sebastian, a former Manchester Storm player himself. The Steelers look to break far side with Jason Weaver, Steelers' top scorer so far this season. Been playing very well, him and David Longstaff. Storm looking to break away. Newmeyer gets it wide to Moore. Moore gives that one up as he gets hit by Longstaff, and Gallant wins it back. But he can't feed Moore, and so they're going to go for a line change. Steelers go back into their own zone, nope. And Adam Smith now has it. Smith on the far side looking to come forward. He banks that one off a skate. I think that was unintentional. And the Steelers are going to go on the forecheck. Trofimenkoff comes out. That comes out in front. There's big Kevin Brown to play it clear to Bullock. Bullock, an all-star selected this year. That was played just before Christmas in Nottingham. He plays this one back around towards Brown. Steelers are going to have to watch out for this danger line this evening, as the Steelers now try and clear. Johnson, though, for the Storm, gets it inside. And the Storm tidy up through their captain, Blair Scott. Scott gets it out of the zone, but Warren Norris is there for the Steelers. They're looking to come back. Good work by Paul Adey going into the zone, but there's Bullock for the Storm looking to bring it out again. Storm on the far side with Spring. He gets the boos of the crowd. He was involved a little earlier in the season with the Sheffield Steelers' Paul Borano when he picked up a knee injury, and the Steelers fans, I don't think, have quite forgiven him for that, as we are going to see our first icing after just 1 minute and 32 seconds. And Colin, your early thoughts?
Well, interesting early on that there's been a couple of mistakes by the Manchester Storm already. First, a pass out that only caught Dale Craigwell on the blue line, and Craiger maybe on the back foot just a little bit, unable to get the momentum forward to get himself into the zone, because he wasn't really expecting him to come to him. Serious mistake. And then behind the net, Trofimenkoff put it straight onto Scott Allison's stick. He fed it out in front. Norris not able to get there quick enough on the line change.
Tremblay and Scott Metcalf having a little set to off the play there. As the Storm look to go back into their own zone. Mike Moran's back there. He's played that round. He then gets tattooed. And then another good hit from Paul Boraldo. Great hit on Rob Robinson. But Brent Bobick, he spent a time with the Sheffield Steelers. In fact, won the B&H Cup with the Sheffield Steelers before he signed with the Storm. Steelers come forward again, though. Good work by Scott Metcalf. He gets it to Boraldo. Boraldo inside. That's tipped. Carpenter scores! Good work from the Sheffield Steelers, owning the boards down low. Fed all the way around, and there you saw a lovely feed from Paul Boraldo, and Steve Carpenter on the doorstep took 2 chances but was able to fire home.
And that's why the Steelers have needed Paul Boraldo back for everything they've been doing so well recently. He adds something to this side. And who would you expect to be standing on the doorstep? Certainly not Steve Carpenter. That's a remarkable example of really intelligent defensive play. Jumping up, getting involved, and making sure you're there and ready and waiting when the puck comes to you. Really, really good work from the Sheffield Steelers. Exactly the start they'll want at home, because it gets their crowd right into it after a slightly low-key opening couple of minutes. Exactly what they wanted on their first real opportunity.
Steelers looking to come forward again. Dale Craigwell, 1-0, comes in. Craigwell scores! What a feed from Adam Smith. Oh my word, the Steelers have come out flying in this one. With not even 2 minutes, well, 2.5 minutes gone in this game, the Sheffield Steelers have made it 2. And Colin Hazelden Can you credit it?
You can't, and again another error to release Dale Craigwell there, and Manchester Storm must really be wondering what's happening here. 18 seconds, believe it or not, separating those two goals, just absolutely astonishing. And you can't give Dale Craigwell those kind of runs. He's got such beautiful hands, such great puck control, and he's always going to be able to move it around a goaltender like that. And I think there's even a change of goaltender almost immediately happening down beneath us. It looks like we're going to see Pat Mazzoli thrown in, and indeed we are. Trofimenkov is pulled, and well, I mean, he's conceded too early on. That's got to hurt your confidence, but to pull a goaltender for what were essentially defensive errors seems a little harsh to me.
Do you think that this could be Coach Terry Christensen's way of just suggesting that his team better wake up in a hurry?
Well, that might well be the suggestion. He's certainly not happy down beneath us, is he? Trofimenkov and Mazzoli, the new boy. Well, you really don't want to be thrown into a cauldron like this, because the Steelers' blood is up, and they'll be scenting a really big win here on New Year's Eve in front of their own fans, and that's what's going to matter as far as they're concerned. And they'll be happy just to calm things down now and to take their openings from the back, but at the same time, momentum is with them, and any chance they get, they'll go for in a full-blooded way.
The Storm have got to really try and consolidate a little bit here then and just get things back on an even keel, but they're defending as the Steelers' Longstaff has it. Makes a nice move, then goes down to the ice. Good defence there by big Troy Newmeyer. And the Steelers have to go back into their own zone. The second goal, then the assist went to Jeff Sebastian and for Adam Smith on the Dale Craigwell finish. It's interesting to see the way that the Sheffield Steelers have started this one, though. They've not looked to be quite as physical as you would expect in the early stages.
Well, no, and it has been a low-key opening, and they've not needed to be, really, because the Manchester Storm have given up the puck to them without them needing to make those big hits. But the second goal, it came, and you said it perfectly well in your commentary, came from them owning the boards down low. And that's what the Steelers can do. When it really counts, they can get in there, they can hit players, and they can really own the boards and make sure the puck comes out their way.
McCosh in his own defensive zone then. Gets this one across to Cale Short. Two good friends, former roommates actually, Cale Short and Shane McCosh. Trained together in the summer when they go back to Oshawa. It's a suburb of Toronto as Scott comes forward for the Manchester Storm. This one, though, is just going to break back to Shane McCosh, and the ex-Bracknell B defenseman is going to look to come forward. McCosh gets this one to 80. 80's just looking to circle forward. Scored a power play goal last night in Newcastle. Done very, very well. In fact, managed to win himself a job here at the Sheffield Arena. As the Storm look to come forward again. Corey Spring, as you hear the boos. Good check by Warren Norris on him, though. The Storm win the puck back. Bullock gets this one to Spring, to Kevin Brown. He's got a big shot. He goes back to Bullock. Bullock fires off the leg of Shane McCosh, though. The Storm have to reset again in the neutral zone. Moran goes wide to Spring. Spring into the zone. Gets this one to Brown. Brown flicks it round into the corner. Steelers are going to get there first with Shane McCosh, though. McCosh plays this one to Paul Baraudo. Baraudo with speed coming through the neutral zone. Still Baraudo goes wide to Brabant, but he's just a stride offside.
Doesn't Baraldo look happy to be back on the ice? And you can see after coming back from that crippling injury there, he came through neutral ice. He really got the speed up. He really seemed to be enjoying skating. And it was a simple joy for him there to be able to get back on his skates, really skate fluently, and he looks like he's back in the groove now. And that's ominous for this Manchester Storm team, who've got to really work out how defensively they're going to start to cope now.
Average age of this line for the Sheffield Steelers with Paul Baraudo, Rick Brabant and Scott Metcalf is 35 years of age.
So they're not young men, but they're certainly doing the business.
Miller for the Manchester Storm. He's just held up by Brabant. Penalty called. Oh, that was such a late call by Simon Kirkham, but probably a call that he had to make with Chris Miller losing the puck in a position that was going to give the Sheffield Steelers the puck in great on-ice position.
Well, sometimes Rick Brabant gets away from that for the Sheffield Steelers, and this is why. I mean, Tricky Dicky, as he's known around the league. I mean, fans of every club in this league hate him unless he's on their team, and goodness knows he's played for a few teams in his time, and they've all had a chance to appreciate what he does do, which is stuff like that, which is to get in behind, niggle and chop and hack, and more often than not he's coming up with the puck rather than with the penalty.
He's approaching 1,700 points in British hockey. He's had 4 200-point seasons over here in Britain, which is just phenomenal figures. But now we're going to see the Manchester Storm up against, as they come into the zone. Barry Moore comes in, Deeks scores. Great work by the Storm on the power play. Not a usual kind of power play goal. But on the breakaway, you saw the Storm come down. An ex-NHLer, Barry Moore, came in, went to the deke, and went 5-hole through Mike O'Neill. And with 15:27 remaining in the period, Storm are back in this. It's Steelers 2, Storm 1
Well, that completely changes the complexion of the game, doesn't it? Storm have not even looked like they were in the game for the first 4.5 minutes of this game. Suddenly they pop up on the power play, they get Barry Moore free, and this time it was the Steelers' defence turn to really crumble, and they get on through, and a lovely move from Moore to finish it off, and you wouldn't have maybe put your money on him, given how low on confidence they must have been after the opening 2 goals. Suddenly it's a 1-goal game again, and it's all back in the balance.
Sebastian looking to play this one around the boards. He's in a bit of trouble back there. Adam Smith goes to help out, and he just, no nonsense, snaps that length of the ice. There's going to be an icing call, and you have to say you get the feeling that this could be like a heavyweight battle. First one throws all its big bombs forward, and then you see the return with right hands from the other.
Well, I think what might be the key here is the goaltending, and I think anyone who looks at the league statistics will know exactly how good the goaltending tandem that turns out for the Sheffield Steelers is, and you won't expect them to concede as many, frankly, if we get into that kind of shootout. Just the stats on the goal then: 18 Barry Moore, assisted 11 Trevor Gallant, and 55 Perry Johnson. The goal timed at 4:33, a power play goal for the Manchester Storm.
Storm looking to come forward far side with Spring. He goes inside to Brown. He loses out to Sebastian though. Storm have it back in centre ice. Johnson goes to Brown, far side to Spring. Spring, what a hit by Adam Smith. Comes inside, Brown fires. Great save, Mike O'Neill though. And Johnson plays this one back across. Couldn't quite feed Spring as Brown rims this one off the boards. He's got ever such a hard shot, Kevin Brown, when he lets one go. And now the Steelers seem to be the team that's clinging on as they play that one down the length of the ice. Now icing's going to be called, as that one's played away very calmly, and the Storm look to come forward again. Bullock rims that one round the boards, playing very much a dump and chase game to Manchester Storm. As you see, too many men on the ice for the Sheffield Steelers, do we think?
Well, it looks like there might well be a call here. We've not seen the call. Referee Kirkham nods. He indeed holds up the too many men on the ice penalty. We've seen quite a few of those this season, and we don't know whether it's just clumsy line changes, but some of them have been called in a very harsh fashion indeed. It'll be Scott Allison who will serve the penalty. Just to clarify, it's a bench penalty, which means it doesn't go against the name of any particular player. Someone's got to sit in the box, though, for the Sheffield Steelers and sit the penalty out.
With the way the Storm scored on the last power play, it's probably the last thing the Sheffield Steelers need right now is to go down to 4 out skaters. Of course, whenever you're playing at even strength, you're playing 5 skaters aside as the Steelers look to come forward. Kent Simpson coming in short-handed, snaps this one off the leg of defenseman Blair Scott, and then Simpson gets driven into the boards. The Steelers looking to kill penalty here, as they now have it with Mike O'Neill behind his own net. Bit of time for Shane McCosh as he plays this out the zone. But going back to the point of too many men on the ice, as we see another penalty call here, an interference call on Blair Scott, the captain of the Manchester Storm. That was for his hit on Kent Simpson, right under the nose of Simon Kirkham, the referee. You're allowed to have 5 out skaters and a goalie on the ice at any one time. If it's your desire to take your goalie away, you can have 6 skaters. Now, what happens with the line changes constantly rolling, frequently you'll get 7 or 8 players out there. Now, the referees usually have a 6-foot area around the team bench area where they wouldn't call a penalty for too many men on the ice unless one of those players in that 6-foot area touches the puck, and that's exactly what happened for the Sheffield Steelers. So 4 on 4, 13:48 remaining here in this first period, as Paul Baraldo goes behind the back of the net, and Baraldo's having a bit of a set to here with Brown, looks like Bullock, I think, sorry, as Baraldo's having a little go. He's holding on, he's going to try and drive him into the plexiglass. Those two are going to get split up as Baraldo's going with Wright. Bullock's there. Still Baraldo's looking to work things off. Baraldo's got his shirt over his head. Sheffield Steelers forward. Well, he said he might do something in this game. He's had certainly a few set-tos as he's trying to rip their helmets off here. The linesmen get involved. And that all seemed to break from nothing, but I think Paul Baraldo has got a lot of thoughts on his mind here about the Manchester Storm. This is the team where he got injured, as he's still giving some words out to Mr. Bullock. Paul Baraldo just shakes his right hand. Bullock skates across to the penalty box. But a good job by both of them there.
Oh, I think so. I think we can score that even, and a happy new year to them both. I really thought Paul Baraldo was in trouble there. He had his shirt over his head, but he carried on swinging the right to try and keep Bullock back. And for a while it looked like they were indulging in a little New Year's kiss. Just a little bit early, perhaps, we felt. Close on the boards there, maybe a little bit of brotherly love. But as you say, this all goes back to that terrible injury that Baraldo suffered at the Manchester Evening News Arena. There certainly wasn't any loss between these two teams, hence Corey Spring, who was directly involved in that, being booed every time he's touched the puck here at the Sheffield Arena.
Now, Bullock 24, Spring 42. Do you think it could be a case of Paul Beraldo forgetting to put in the contacts and just making a little mistake?
Perhaps. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Or maybe just a little bit too much is being said. But you've got to be careful if you're the Sheffield Steelers not to spend too much time keying on Corey Spring and worrying about getting your revenge. Really, it's a one-goal game. Let's not fuss about this until the game is won, is what the coaches have to be saying down there. And really, for your Manchester Storm, you don't want to get involved in this right now. You really don't. You're chasing the game.
Kale Short down low then. Sheffield Steelers 4-on-4. Snap by Brabant. That was blocked though. Steelers are going to try and work hard with Shane McCosh in the offensive zone, but the Storm's going to tidy up through Gallant. He's under a bit of pressure, but he's done well. Robinson gets this one forward to big Kevin Brown. Ugly skating style as he flicks this one across to Johnson. Johnson to Glant. Fires. Good save, O'Neill. Kevin Brown, born in Birmingham, England. Played last year in the NHL with the Edmonton Oilers. Bounced around a little bit. Played with the Los Angeles Kings organisation. Decided that Britain was probably going to be a place where he was going to do all right.
And of course, so many of the decisions about who plays in this league hinge on what kind of passports they have. You get 7 work permits for every team. Those are players who can't play anywhere else.
Snapped in. Good save by the Sheffield Steelers, Mike O'Neill, and the Steelers try and break now. Newmeyer tidies up well for the Storm, though, as they look to come forward. Steelers get it back, though, through Longstaff. Longstaff comes again. He's got 3 Storm players around him. Tries to go to the net. He's held up. Then gets driven into the net by Chris Miller.
Good defensive work from the Manchester Storm, just kind of keeping Longstaff to the outside, preventing him pulling those little tricks he's so fond of pulling. And they just pushed him to the outside there, and for a moment it looked like he might work something, but then they just held him up. Chris Miller is so strong, isn't he? And he just managed to drive him to the outside. And really, when you look around this Manchester Storm team, it's hard to see why they're struggling this season, because they do have a lot of good players and a lot of players who won championships with this side.
Also, they have a lot of size. They're not a small team by any stretch of the imagination. It's a face-off in the zone. Perry Johnson takes that. That's an ex-Team Canada player. Perry Johnson played last year with 3 of the players, that are in the British leagues at the moment. 2 are on the Sheffield Steelers bench in Kent Simpson and Warren Norris. As we see a flying hit there, but I think there's been a skate in Barry Moore's face. Let's hope he's going to be okay. I think that was accidental from Steve Carpenter. He went to make the hit and Moore just slid down to the ice.
Moore was already going down as Carpenter came in, and by that time, momentum being what it is on the ice, there was no way for Carpenter to stop, and he did seem to catch his face there. That looked very nasty. I'm not sure if the skate actually caught. If he did, that will be a very, very nasty injury indeed, but I think we might have seen a little more stillness and a little more agony there, and a little more rush too, to get the player off the ice there. That looked very, very nasty indeed. I don't think it's going to be proved to be quite as bad as it might well have been, because as he went down, really, Carpenter's skate could well have caught him full on. I don't think it did. I think maybe just the tip of the skate perhaps caught him across the top of the head. I think
he was very lucky, though, with the way that Carpenter stepped up at that moment. He was only going to get the toe. It's a hard toe. It's a hard plastic molded toe. But it's much better than if you get the blade of the skate, which
Absolutely.
could be potentially lethal. As Barry Moore seems to get up now, he looks a bit groggy as he skates toward the bench.
No signs of a cut, and that's really a relief for everyone concerned, because those, aside from the nasty knee and twist injuries you sometimes get, like the one Paul Beraldo picked up, perhaps skate injuries are the worst in the game. Skate and stick injuries, when they come up in your face, they really can do an awful lot of damage. Steve
Carpenter actually chipped his 2 front teeth last night from a high stick, so he knows all about that. He's speaking with a lisp today. It's quite interesting when you hear him say a few words. As the Steelers then skating 4-on-4 against the Manchester Storm. It's a 2-1 game here. It definitely is a game as well, as Adam Smith goes feet first into the boards. He's not happy about that. As the Storm look to press forward again. Jeff Sebastian's there, though. It's been a rock this season for the Sheffield Steelers, one of the foundations that they've built their dominance on so far, as the Steelers come out of the penalty box in the shape of Scott Allison. He's into the zone, going to snap this, fires, goes all the way wide. Weaver can't keep this one in the zone. So Steelers on the power play for a further 16 seconds. I'm going to take it behind their own net. Jeff Sebastian. Sebastian is ridden into the boards by Marty Flickle. He was a player that Sheffield Steelers were chasing in the summer. Just 5 seconds remaining then on that penalty to Blair Scott. As the Steelers bring it into the zone. It's 5-on-5. Scott's got it. He's free. Shane McCosh is coming across. Still, poor pass as well, though, by Blair Scott. Could have fed Brent Bobick, but didn't manage to. He just succeeded in putting it behind Bobick. And now Warren Norris clears on the backhand side. Storm are going to tidy up through Troy Newmeyer. Missed the whole of last season with a shoulder problem. As Bobick has it now. He's got speed going into the zone for the Manchester Storm. Nice move by Bobick. Drops it off, fired in by Tremblay. And now Shane McCosh has got some space. But well played again by the Storm as it comes back to Chris Miller. He couldn't handle that one though. And now Kent Simpson's going to go on the chase. Simpson with speed around the outside. He's got a man driving the net. Goes to Norris. Norris fires. Oh, that's gone high. 110, look out.
Uncharacteristic mistake by Chris Miller there on the blue line. You're not used to seeing the puck go past him in those situations. He's usually an absolute rock in that position and holds his line beautifully. And then the other key really to the Steelers season, I think, Kent Simpson and his arrival as a 10th forward. In other words, the spare man, the man you'd happily see drop away, the man you're not paying a terribly large amount of money to. He's been absolutely brilliant for them. Every game I've seen for them this season, he's been outstanding when he's played, when he's not been injured. And his speed, which you saw just a little bit of there, is really the key to his success.
Perry Johnson just rems this one round on the backhand side then. Brown gets this to Gallant, and Gallant's going forward towards Spring. Spring is going to be held up, and Mike O'Neill plays that. Spring just dumped Shane McCosh down to the ice as the Steelers look to come forward again. Intercepted by Johnson for the Manchester Storm though, and well played by the smooth skating defenseman. The Steelers are going to try and tidy up through Cale Short, and Cale Short's another player who's come on leaps and bounds this year. It's a great hit by Scott Metcalf. And Simpson wins the puck back for the Steelers to McCosh. McCosh comes in, fires this one, hits the outside of the netting. And the Steelers are going to keep this in the zone. Good work by Cale Short. Then he just loses out to Kevin Brown. And Cale Short has it again. Manchester Storm looking to lay the body on quite a lot at this juncture. As Johnson gets this one forward, the Storm looking to attack. Kevin Brown's going to go in, make contact. He does with Shane McCosh. Icing's being called though, and that was the late whistle, and it could have left Shane McCosh in a bit of trouble here.
There's going to be a bit of an afters as a result, I think, partly of that late whistle. You often see that. So many tangles happen after the whistle perhaps should have gone, and they're unnecessary. And if the referees were just a little bit sharper, they wouldn't happen at all.
Well, with 10 minutes and 19 seconds and the score, Sheffield Steelers 2, Manchester Storm 1. To take you through to the end of the period, it's going to be Colin Hazelden.
And there's a lot of chat going on. Terry Christensen down on the Manchester Storm bench, just marshalling his troops, letting them know exactly what he requires of them for the next 10 minutes of this period, because they're in an unlikely position after that great early start from the Sheffield Steelers. The Storm are well back in it. It drops back now and goes around the back of the boards. Picked up by Robinson. Robinson flicks it around towards Bobbick. Bobbick can't hold it up. Carpenter does. Carpenter firing it across centre ice. Big check in there. Longstaff might just come away with it, but Carpenter couldn't push it forward. It's gone forward. Surely that was offside. Penalty being called by Simon Kirkham. It's going to be against the Sheffield Steelers. The touch-up will come now for the Sheffield Steelers. Arm out. Didn't see what he didn't like there. It's gone against Carpenter, and we're going to see it's elbows. Elbows high. From Carpenter will be the penalty that's called at 10:03 now, and that's another 2 minutes. The Sheffield Steelers will have to go on the penalty kill. It's been an excellent penalty kill so far this season, and they'll want it to perform to the best, especially after conceding that early power play goal.
Steve Carpenter just stepped up then. He got his elbow a little bit high into the face of the defenseman Rob Robinson of the Manchester Storm. He was just outside the zone, and Carpenter did his job in standing the man up, but he just got his arms a little bit high.
Face-off taken then inside Steelers territory. It's back on the blue line, flicked out by Blair Scott, who's going to wait for the return on the blue line, bounces off his skate, two come to him, and then he loses out, poked away by the Sheffield Steelers. Here's Simpson with his speed again, looking on the chase, can't quite pick it up. That's going to leave him high and out of position as the Storm look to come straight back. Brown drives it in straight into the body of Mike O'Neill. He'll smother that comfortably enough, and that really has been one of the things about the Sheffield Steelers this season. You're not really going to beat Mike O'Neill from there, are you?
An NHL goaltender against the guy with an NHL shot, Kevin Brown. Really, he's got all the tools to be an NHL player, and there's no reason why he shouldn't be, but his knock on him has been the fact that he's not been able to get into the kind of NHL shape, and he doesn't have perhaps the NHL attitude that's required.
Yeah, it can be a matter of attitude going to the show as much as skills. There are so many of the players here who do have the tools for the job. Shot driven in again from Blair Scott. That's going to come off the shin of Norris, and Norris has been quite badly hurt like that. His face is in agony as he comes to the bench for a change there, because he caught that shot and it would have been driven hard. Blair Scott always drives them hard, full in the shins there. Behind the Storm net then, Scott picks it up, stops the puck, and away will come the Storm with Brown. Brown flicks it out towards that right-hand side, towards Gallant. Can't hold it up. Now they can. They picked it up with Gallant inside on the backhand. Gets it to Miller. Miller's got the open shot. Just kicked away there. Going to be another opportunity. This one for Neumeier. Kicked away again. Great save, O'Neill. But it's in the top of the net at the end. And it goes into the top of the net from Brown. O'Neill kept the first two shots out with great kick saves, but the second one went straight to Brown. O'Neill was on the deck, he could do nothing else about it. Great comeback from the Manchester Storm, and Brown has roofed it. Steelers 2, Storm 2.
Good power play from the Storm, forcing Mike O'Neill into several tough saves, and the first save really was the one that did it for Mike O'Neill. The shot from Chris Miller. O'Neill was off balance when he saved that. He didn't see it coming. It bounced out. He let the rebound out. You don't see that happen very often with Mike O'Neill. Then the second shot came in and the rebound was lying there. O'Neill was down on the ice, and there was Kevin Brown. But interesting to see the Sheffield Steelers defensemen out there were Adam Smith and Shane McCosh, two guys that don't usually play together.
Maybe that's had an impact, perhaps not, as they wrestle their way, do the Sheffield Steelers, with Metcalf into the zone, fired in shot, just goes wide. That from Rick Brabant. Around the back it is. Miller, 80 competing for it on the boards, and stepping in the end is Pierre Allard as the Steelers try and force it out in front. They've not been able to do so yet. Now they might. Metcalf looking for the wraparound, just tries to pass at the far post, just taken away from 80 at the last second. Short, good work to keep it in. 80's waiting for someone to go to. It's Brabant in the end. Soft shot goes wide. He couldn't quite get as much on that as he would have wanted, but Rick Brabant going to work hard to keep it in the zone here for the Sheffield Steelers, passing it around nicely. Back it goes to the blue line. Rick Brabant, high slot, drops it off now, looking for the fired-in shot. It comes in, bounces out, and covered up by Mazzoli, and really since he came on, that's the first work that Mazzoli's had to do, really, Pat Mazzoli.
The Sheffield Steelers really haven't tested him the way they should have done. With a goalie being pulled, it would be a great chance. He's not really warm, he's not really focused on what's going to happen. He wasn't expecting to play today, and the Sheffield Steelers haven't given him the same kind of pressure that they gave to Trofimenkov in the first 3 minutes of the game.
Exactly, and the two goals against Trofimenkov that led to him being pulled.
What you saw then, though, was Rick Brabant, who's about 5'9", and you also saw Paul Adey, who's 5'8", along with Scott Metcalf, who's about 6'2", cycle the puck so well. They use their body to protect the puck so well. It's great to see when a team is doing that, just pinning the defenseman and moving the puck around, and it's something that you wouldn't expect from sort of two relatively small players.
2 minutes for interference, that penalty going, and there's a minute 45 left on it as the Steelers go on the power play, going from left to right down in front of us. Dale Craigwell firing it around the boards towards Weaver. Weaver pushes it out, and around the back it comes again. Craigwell was waiting for it, never made it to him, but will do now, off Weaver. Craigwell can't make it sit. Turns, twists. Looks for the outlet now. Puts it behind the net towards Longstaff. Longstaff feeds it out in front. Weaver can't quite get control of it to put the shot in first time, which was perhaps what he needed to do. And with Johnson in attendance, Mazzoli was able to block, and then the Storm are able to clear. No icing while the Storm are short-handed. They can send it the length of the ice as many times as they like. Play will never be stopped because the Steelers are one man to the good, and that gives them the advantage. And away they come now down the left-hand side with Metcalf. Metcalf puts it in around behind. Allison can't quite get there first, and Bobic nearly gets rid of it, but not quite. And AD and Allison think about who should have it. It comes to Allison in the end, right-hand boards. AD goes in against the boards to scoop it up. They're claiming a delay of the game because Miller fell on the puck down beneath us there. They're not going to get it, I don't think. It'll just be a face-off on the left-hand side as Mazzoli looks at it in front of his net.
The Storm have done very, very well on this penalty kill. What they've done is they've kept a Sheffield Steelers power play that's been prolific in the last 3 games, that's scored 4 power play goals against the Nottingham Panthers, another one against the Bracknell Bees, and then another 2 last night against the Newcastle Jesters. But they've kept them to the outside at all times and not let them have any quality possession towards the inside, and getting a lot of pressure on the goal of the Manchester Storm.
Carpenter bouncing it off the boards. Allison able to pick that up well, gets it to Metcalf behind the goal, who gets it to AD. AD though, his shot, Allard, great work, fired in once again and turned away, and AD will go back once again. His initial shot there, the stick came down from Allard onto AD's stick, and that was what stopped him getting the decent shot away. And now at the other end, a chance for a short-handed effort. O'Neill closes the door as the shot came in from Greg Bullock. Steelers should get away now, 20 seconds left on their power play, which really hasn't shown the kind of fire that the Storm power play has so far in this game. Metcalf down this right-hand side, struggling to get it off the boards. Allison's in there with him now. Allison does dig it out, tries to get it out to Carpenter, nearly a lucky bounce there, but Baraldo unable to get on the end of that one, and we're down to the last 5 seconds of the power play. Allison brought down to the ice. The Manchester Storm go back to full strength, and they're in possession. Robinson firing down the left-hand side of the ice. Bobic's there and stops the icing just by getting there first, and Carpenter didn't go on the race with him when perhaps he should have done. Down to the ice goes Tremblay there, the pantomime villain perhaps of this Super League at times. Carpenter kicking it out. Paul Baraldo able to pick it up on the goal line and skate away with it. He just comes inside now, circles once, and that's the kind of thing that forwards have to be very confident when they start doing that inside their own zone. Dennis Vial out on the ice. Not seen a whole lot of him so far in this game. Not completely fit. Bounces it off the boards. Looking for Norris, chasing that down. Norris goes in for the follow-up hit on Johnson as the Storm retain possession now. Scott. Over the top from Scott. Just gloved down by Smith. And away will come the Steelers once again. They did have Beraldo on the stretch, chose not to use him because Simpson's away. Norris inside him. Simpson instead chips it forward on his own backhand and goes into the corner. Tries to feed it back in for Norris. Bullock's there in attendance. Norris wrestles him for it, and out it comes into the slot. Beraldo had skated through that just moments earlier, but he wasn't there when the pass came. Scott bouncing off the boards. Smith should tidy this up comfortably enough, especially with the help he's getting from Vial, who fires it round on the backhand there. And just struggling a little to clear their own zone, something that should be comparatively simple at this level. Vial has it now through the middle, and he's going to drive one. That's going to go hard into Miller, who tried to hold it up there. Whistle's gone, and the whistle, I think, for gloving it down or a hand pass.
The whistle was because the referee, Simon Kirkham, couldn't see it. As the whistle blew, the puck was on the ice. I suppose you can't win them all as a referee, and it's one of the things that really does frustrate the players, so that the referee don't always manoeuvre themselves into a position to be able to see the puck.
Yes, and that's... We have seen a lot of early whistles, haven't we? And we wondered if there was a diktat coming down from the league or the referee's chief early on in the game, as we see a few repairs being made to the ice. And the ice really has been another bane of the players' life. It's actually reasonably chilly inside the Sheffield Arena today, but often the complaint is buildings have been just a little too warm, and the quality of the ice has suffered as a result. And just looking at it now, this ice doesn't look fantastic, you have to say.
We're coming up towards the end of the period, but it's the first period of a game, and it shouldn't chop up so easily. Actually, an interesting note before the start of this game, the Sheffield Steelers general manager and announcer, Dave Sims, actually asked the crowd to vote. Do we turn the heating on and suffer perhaps not so good ice, or do we leave it off? The crowd voted to leave the heating off. So I'm going to blame my cold toes on the public of Sheffield.
I think they show good hockey judgment. I think they show good hockey judgment in that. We want decent ice for this game to be played on, because we have players in this league now who really can play it with genuine skill, panache and ability. And as Seth was saying earlier on, sometimes NHL ability. Bullock trying to play it through. Craigwell's there, and he makes such a good impromptu defenseman at times, collecting calmly and feeding it out. Here come the Steelers then, flipping it forward. Longstaff is going to chase this one. He's going to be up against Neumeier. He's going to get there first, or he should have got there first, but the puck just kind of went under his stick, perhaps because he was concentrating too much on fending Neumeier off. And down this left-hand side it goes. There was a little bit of afters there, but the Steelers should clear this. The Storm trying to put the pressure on, but unable to get a clear look. Really, we've had clear chances in a premium, which for a 2-2 game so far, is perhaps something of a surprise. Longstaff trying to feed it inside, and away they'll come again with Brown. Brown knocking it forward towards Bullock. Bullock, he's got Brown inside him again, but so is McCosh. He's got it back in again, fired in, turned away. Good block there. Longstaff going down, and then O'Neill's forced to turn it away at his near post. Away they'll come now towards the blue line, almost like a power play for the Storm here. If they flick it out to Robinson, who's got a clear look, fires it in, and O'Neill just manages to watch that go wide, unsure whether he got a touch or not. We're unsure where the puck is. It's flicked away now by the Sheffield Steelers, who will take the opportunity to go on a line change, and they did well there. Corey Spring with the initial attack to set it all up, and then the Storm doing very well just to keep that going. Metcalf inside his own zone, trying to flick it forward. Seth Bennett.
One of the things, just going back to that battle with David Longstaff and Troy Neumeier, Longstaff rates Troy Neumeier as the most difficult defenseman to play against in the league.
Well, that says something when another player, especially a forward of Dave Longstaff quality, says that. It's out in front now. There's going to be no one there to pick it up. Johnson flicks it forward now. And they're going to try and just feed it in, are the Manchester Storm. They've got it there, and they've got it out in front, but only Rick Brabant was there and waiting. You can see the target. The target was Trevor Gallant coming in from the right-hand side. Again, the Storm have some players going forward and the opportunity to shoot. And this crowd's gone very quiet inside this Sheffield Arena. They sense their team is under the cosh just a little bit here at home. This is good for the Manchester Storm. The Steelers, the clear league leaders, they won't expect to be in this position, but here they come now to the Steelers. Metcalf, top of the circle. Metcalf, lovely drop off for Beraldo. Beraldo just comes off a stick and goes high, and it was Troy Neumeier there displaying those defensive qualities, getting his stick in the way and forcing the deflection.
Paul Beraldo's last goal in the Seconda Super League was scored on that fateful date at the MEN Arena. Sorry, yeah, it's the MEN Arena these days, isn't it? The MEN Arena in Manchester, and
it's not just Newcastle who change the name every 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Can't even get the name of the arenas right these days. Yeah, but that was his last goal.
Face-off to be taken then, won by Warren Norris. Been a great face-off team, the Sheffield Steelers. Shane McCosh skating in towards that blue line, going forward, fired in and across, and the goaltender doesn't know where it is. He finally snatches it up, does Matsoli. and it was around and about the goal crease with 2 or 3 Steelers players menacing and no one able to get the touch.
Well, Scott Allison, I think he did actually get the touch. I think you'll see is the way the puck came in. It tipped up off his stick, and he went for a second bite while it was in the air, and all he managed to do was Mazzoli got his big catching glove out there, and he just managed to hammer it straight into the catching glove. A couple of inches either way, and that was a goal for the Steelers.
Well, just under 16 minutes of play for Mazzoli so far, and he's doing rather well against the Sheffield Steelers. Not that they've piled on the pressure they would have wanted to, really, at home. All a bit lethargic at the moment. McCosh inside his own zone. He's got AD, but that is just tipped away as it's wrestled forwards by Norris. Norris holds his man off and pushes it forward. AD's there. Behind the goal, AD going to try and pick it up. He's under some pressure from Robinson. Norris is there as well as AD goes down and then pulls Robinson down afterwards. Kirkham does nothing about that and then says he can't see the puck. It's been held up against the boards and there'll be a whistle. AD and Robinson a bit of a conversation and as a result of that tangle.
You have to say, though, there's a huge size difference there. Big Rob Robinson, 6'3", 215 pounds. Paul Adey, 5'8", 185 pounds. Huge difference in size, and he just gave him a facial. Looked more like the WWF, the way he sort of picked him up and threw him down to the ice. As Scott Allison goes over to see Corey Spring. A little bit of afters by the bench there. Nobody's too happy. Paul Baraldo's offering his stick towards Corey Spring. They're talking. Baraldo and Spring are just still talking and still talking. Doing a little bit of plexi in between the two benches. I
know you need these rivals. I'm really not sure how fair it is. I'm not sure how deliberate. Corey Springs never struck me as a dirty player. I'm really not sure how deliberate his attack, if you want to call it that, his check on Paul Baraldo was. It was late. I don't think anyone doubts that at the MBN Arena. But whether he really meant to inflict the kind of damage he did, I think would be a harsh thing to suggest about him. As the shot comes in, is covered up very swiftly by Mazzoli there. Longstaff just working his way out of the face-off circle. Something he does very, very well indeed.
I think that thing that Paul Baraldo was upset about was there was no need for the hit. The first player came in, swung away, and Baraldo thought he was clear. He'd already made the pass, and this was 5-6 seconds after the play. And a guy that's played at NHL level should know not to make that hit then, because there's no reason for it.
Dennis Vial there uncharacteristically losing the puck on the opposition's blue line, but they've got it back, the Steelers. Longstaff, here goes Longstaff now. He's got to circle and wait for players to come through. It was Craigwell, but the pass was behind him, and away will come Gallant for the Manchester Storm over the Steelers' blue line. Kicks off a skate of Dennis Vial, who goes in behind the net there. Checks go in, and away will come the Sheffield Steelers. Craigwell now, skating away from home. It's 4-on-3. He's got lots of support. He's got McCosh just behind him. Craigwell goes alone for the moment, then gets into Weaver. Weaver feeds it in, but it's just turned away before it gets net. Longstaff back out towards the blue line. Craigwell bounces it off the boards from his backhand. Longstaff to feed it in behind. Good play from the Sheffield Steelers. 1 minute to go in this first period. Gloved down by Rick Brabant. Puck wouldn't sit for a minute, but he's managed to get it back. Shot comes in, just goes wide. Mazzoli was looking to block the first shot, but it took a deflection, and it could so easily have just carried it past that right leg of his, which was down on the ice, blocking a shot he thought was going to go a couple of feet to the left and straight into his body when he got the angle right, but the deflection very nearly carried it through as the Steelers carry on trying to get this puck out here. They have got it out. Simpson gets tangled up just for a moment with Blair Scott, but does dig it out. He goes through now, face-off dot, fires it in straight to Mazzoli, who holds on.
See a little bit more afters out in front. David Longstaff pulled away by Rob Trumbly.
There's lots of tension here, isn't there? And it being a 2-2 game, the Steelers jumping into the early lead, and Storm really fought their way back in, haven't they?
They've done well. I think there's two ways to go with this, and it's something that we touched on at the start of the game with the 3 keys to the game. The Manchester Storm need a wide-open hockey game. They need it free skating, and they need to get the likes of Bullock and Brown and Gallant to use their skills, and Marty Flickler as well. Whereas the Sheffield Steelers want it to be a tight, defensive, hard-checking, and make the Storm play their style. That's not happened. The Storm have really been the one, and they're going to be the ones more happy at the end of this first period, to be honest.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. Short contesting this. Maybe the Steelers have one last opportunity in them to go in front of their home fans here at what they call the House of Steel. Flick forward then, and gloved down very well by Bullock. Bullock, some nice work, good soft hands, getting his way through, just held up for a second, and then he'll be carried into the boards there by Cale Short. It'll come away. The Sheffield Steelers will bring it away, but they've only got 3 seconds, so Metcalf will fire it from distance. Mazzoli will glove it down. The hooter will go, and that's the end of a dramatic, if unspectacular, first period in some ways. The hockey's not exactly been fantastic. We're just keeping an eye out for any afters down on the ice. Still words being had between Baraldo and Spring, and I think they might be setting up a little dance date later. I think they were signing each other's cards. That's what it looked like just there, just down beneath us. It'll be interesting to see if that happens. But 2 apiece, and Seth Bennett, the Steelers will have expected better after going into an early lead. Leave it.
No. Next.
Always a mistake.
I feel bad though, man.
So, welcome back to the Sheffield Arena then. Second period just about get underway.
Okay, welcome back and hand over.
So, welcome back to the Sheffield Arena then. Second period just about to get underway between the Sheffield Steelers and the Manchester Storm. Sheffield Steelers, of course, the league leaders, raced into a 2-0 lead here in front of their home fans and then let it slip. So it's 2 apiece coming into this second period. Referee Simon Kirkham about to get us underway. Centre ice to take you through the opening moments. Seth Bennett.
The Sheffield Steelers then are sure to have had a rollicking in between periods, whilst the Manchester Storm's coach, Terry Christensen, is no doubt quietly confident and very happy with his team's performance after that initial 2-minute spell. So we're back underway then. It's the Storm that are going from left to right. Dale Craigwell takes a hard fall into the boards there behind the play. As Gallant comes into the zone. Good skater, Gallant. Gets it wide to Miller. Miller snaps it. That goes just wide on the tip. Another chance as Bobbitt gets tattooed from behind. Into Mike O'Neill. Former teammates, those two, earlier on this season.
When Miller skated through there on the left, I think he was probably Dale Craigwell's assignment. And once Craigwell had taken his tumble behind the play, that really released the extra man for the Manchester Storm. They so very nearly made it count. And that's where they've been so sharp, I think, so far in this game. They've taken their opportunities and they've spotted them when they're going to arise. And Chris Miller there, very sharp bit of play. Knew the Steelers were going to be a man short. Knew he could jump up into the play and really try and make something happen. Steelers fortunate that he didn't.
Storm win the face-off. It goes back to the point. Good check by the Steelers, and they win it back through McCosh to Metcalf. Near side, looking to go forward. Flicks this one in high. Tries to get there first. He can't get there, though. And the Storm look to try and clear through Gallant. He rims that one all the way around the backboards towards Bobbitt. Bobbitt goes to centre ice and Flickle. Flickle tries to play it past McCosh. And the ex-Nottingham Panther now brings it in. Tries second time. Steelers working hard, but it's broken to Bobbitt. Bobbitt can't handle behind the back of the net, and Paul Baraudo, those two, behind the back of the net, working hard as this one's broken out by the Steelers to McCosh. McCosh coming into the zone, goes inside out, still McCosh, backhand fires, good save.
Such skill from a defenseman. Really brilliant skill from a defenseman. You watch him breaking for the blue line. Now, first off, you wonder what he's doing there in the first place, and then you watch him handle the puck and beat his man, and so nearly slide the backhand in under Mazzoli. Really, really good skill from Shane McCosh, which is one of the things that makes him an asset to this team, is he does his defensive job. When he's asked to do it, he really can play a bit, and I think that runs right through this side. Even the tough guys like Dennis Vial really can play.
Steelers win the draw, comes back, fired in by Carpenter, that's deflected high as he gets the attention of Corey Spring. Now Bullock gets hit as he clears towards Dennis Vial. Vial, for the Steelers, looking to tidy up. He goes onto the near side boards and Vial goes forward again. He fires this one. That one's blocked wide though by Mazzoli. The Storm looking to break out. Bullock taken down to the ice. Good hit on him by Dennis Vial. And Steve Carpenter takes it behind his own net. Carpenter under a bit of pressure leaves that one. Gets taken down to the ice by Spring. And now Norris comes forward for the Steelers. Good work by Warren Norris. He snaps this one wide. Fired by 80. Good save. Comes back again. Steelers another chance. Kicked across the top of the crease. And now the Storm are going to break. Steelers got to get back. Storm breaking quickly as Warren Norris having a little slashing fit with Bullock, as Norris and Bullock behind the play are going to turn around. They're going to have words with one another. Warren Norris and Bullock just eyeing one another up. On the far side it's going. Allison and Spring. Spring goes down to the ice. Allison's giving him a good hiding as Spring's going to look to try and get up now. Spring, well, that seemed really pointless. Allison and Spring dropped the gloves. Spring dropped to his knees and covered up. As soon as the linesman jumped in, there was Corey Spring, like he was going to knock Scott Allison out.
You wonder if he's trying to draw Scott Allison into the extra penalty, perhaps, maybe for being the instigator. You wonder whether this isn't the fight he really wants to have. But nevertheless, we've been talking about this business with Corey Spring. Seems to be occupying everyone in this game, and that's not good for the game. It's not good for the team. And now there's talk as Allison went to go there. He was just being told
Dennis Vial's coming across towards
Dennis
Trumbley.
Vial's coming in to get involved. It was Rob Trumbley, as so often, getting involved where he didn't need to. Referee Simon Kirkham just struggling to keep control for a moment.
Adam Smith and Tremblay talking as well. This one, if Simon Kirkham doesn't watch out, is going to lose control as Trumblay's dispatched to the penalty box. But the big thing with Corey Spring here, now if you didn't want to take the fight and you're trying to take the penalty, if the linesman didn't jump in, you're taking a big risk of basically getting the hell knocked out of you by somebody like Scott Allison, who's a very accomplished fighter, knows exactly what he's doing when he drops the gloves, and you don't stare him in the face, drop your gloves, and then turtle.
Well, maybe. I mean, maybe we're being harsh on him. Maybe he just lost his footing for the second and found himself on his knees and felt that was his only option at that particular point. Let's see what the penalties are then.
Well, Colin, that's your job. I don't think I can count high enough to be dealing with all these penalties at the moment. But the thing here is what is going to happen with Rob Trumblay. Trumblay jumped the bench, and he skated all the way across, and he actually cross-checked over the top of the linesman into Scott Allison. So it's going to be interesting to see what happened. Really, he should be considered third man in or something along those lines. Well, we're going to wait on that one. Well, Spring's got a 2-minute penalty. It's all going to even up. Rob Trumblay is going to get a 2-minute as well. So the 10-minute personal penalty will go on Trumblay.
Yes, let's just confirm those penalties, shall we? Scott Allison for the Sheffield Steelers, 2+2 for roughing, and indeed Corey Spring drew the instigating penalty there at 21:57. Also at 21:57, Corey Spring just gets the 2 for roughing. So it was Scott Allison who got the instigator on that particular fight, and cross-checking against Rob Trumblay. That was the call. 21:57. 2 minutes for that, plus a 10-minute penalty as well. The personal misconduct. I hasten to add, for those of you not familiar with the game, that 10 minutes will be served by Rob Trumblay alone. It will not cost his team one man on the ice for the entire 12 minutes. So in fact, it will be completely even. But Rob Trumblay personally is out of the game now until 8 minutes and 3 seconds to go in this period.
Well, interesting stuff going on at the Sheffield Arena. We've got it all going on. The New Year's Eve dancing is starting early. Let's just put it that way. 18:03 remaining in the second. Steelers 2, Storm 2. We're all tied up. As Warren Norris, he was the instigator of a lot of this trouble, and then, I don't know, somehow he seemed to break off the back of that. Completely different area of the ice as well as the Steelers come forward. 80 drops that one wide to Norris. Norris into the zone. He goes towards Simpson. Simpson couldn't reach it. Comes out in front. Steelers couldn't get a finish on that one. As this one comes round, Smith battling on the boards. He leaves that one though to the forwards and Warren Norris as he battles with Blair Scott. Storm defenseman working hard. He's pinned his man into the boards. Steelers have got 3 players in there. Storm have got 3 now as well as they're trying to work things out. Norris comes away. Drops that one. 80 fires. Good save though by Matt Zolik. He's near post. Blair Scott lost his helmet and all that. But the Steelers now, from their point of view, are going to have to calm things down, get back to playing their hard-hitting defensive hockey, whilst the Storm are going to want to keep this up-tempo, try and keep it at odd men as much as they can.
I don't think the Storm will mind this preoccupation that the Steelers seem to have at the moment with getting some sort of revenge for what happened to Paul Baralda. I really don't. I think the Storm will be quite happy. They'll bounce off the back of it. They'll take the punches as and when they come, and then they'll look to get it down and play some hockey. And as long as the Steelers are worrying more about hitting than they are about playing hockey, they might just be in trouble.
Storm looking to break with Gallant. Nope. He gets hit by Cale Short. Nice check as well by Cale Short. It's McCosh comes forward again. We've already seen some smooth skating from him in this period as McCosh tries to go around the outside, gets this one to Craigwell. Craigwell tries to drop this in front. Weaver was there, but it's broken to McCosh again. Back down low to Weaver. Weaver tries to get inside to Longstaff. Longstaff fires this one, blocked by Robinson, the defenseman, as this one breaks down low towards Craigwell. Steelers got the pressure going here. Craigwell looking to cut wide. He plays it behind the back of the net. Longstaff's there, backhand side. Fires this one back towards Weaver. Weaver's gone back towards Longstaff. Longstaff plays it with his feet. Nice sliding tackle. Would have been proud of that on a Saturday afternoon. This one's played all the way around the boards again. Weaver's going to try and battle. Steelers going to the boards with Shane McCosh, and now it's cleared. Good work by Brent Bobick. But he's only managed to get it to centre ice as the Flickle now picks up. Steelers are going to be in danger here as the Storm come forward. Bobick going wide, snaps this one in on goal. And Jason Weaver's going to come all the way around the outside. Weaver cuts back towards the inside in his own zone. Still Weaver going forward. He's in great strength as he just loses that one off the end of his stick. And now Kevin Brown's going to look to come the other way. Brown plays this one all the way wide towards Allard. Allard gets this one back. It's played all the way around to Mike Morin. Morin just holding on here. Rick Brabant's in there. Still Moran's on his backhand side as he fires that one. Good shot by Moran. And great persistence by the Manchester Storm man.
Yeah, they are, and they're really plugging away at this, aren't they? And they're the ones, we talked about it before the game, who are trying to play the hockey, who want to get the puck on the ice, who want to play it around. Just an example of it early on in that particular passage of play. Marty Flick, a lovely little backhand flip, spinning pass straight to the tape of Brent Bobick. Now, it really takes some control to put the puck in the air like that and bring it down just where you want it. He did it beautifully on the blue line there and very nearly set Bobick away.
Steelers captain Dennis Vial then has it behind his own net. Going to leave this one for Rick Brabant, a former Manchester Storm forward himself, actually. He scored the winning penalty shot for the Manchester Storm when they won the Benson and Hedges Cup last season, as the Steelers put a forecheck on. Miller's in a bit of trouble here. He loses out eventually to Dennis Vial, and Vial, well, all he's done is pick out a Manchester Storm fan in the crowd. And if they're lucky, they will have caught it. If they're unlucky, they'll be taking it home in the side of the head.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's quite on his game, does he, this evening, Dennis Vial?
Dennis Vial has had the flu for the last week or so, really been struggling. It's actually quite interesting. You see him off the ice, he's got this woolly hat on wherever he walks. He looks like he's just about to go and commit some kind of crime somewhere, so be looking out at all the petrol station on Dennis's route home.
Don't worry, guys, he's just there to buy petrol, no matter how rough he looks.
Vial, I'll tell you what, when he's got that scowl going, he does look rough. Vial fires this one in deep. Storm try and clear this one out. Steelers have done well to turn it over, though, as it comes back to Carpenter, snapped in. That's deflected wide by Brabant. The Steelers get it back to Vial on the point. Vial winds this one up, deflected wide again by the Steelers' Scott Metcalf. And now the Storm come forward. That's an elbow. And now Paul Baraldo comes in, as so does Scott Metcalf. Baraldo goes in there. Metcalf comes in there, and Baraldo is fighting on the floor. He's got a hold of Corey Spring, and Dennis Vial is having a go. There's two Steelers on one Manchester Storm player there. As everything's going, Dennis Vial's going in there with Bullock. Bullock and Vial. Vial's grabbed a hold of Bullock. Carpenter's in there. Everybody's a hold. Springs going centre ice. And there's Scott Metcalf's coming in on the backside. Perry Johnson. And now we're going to see something, as Baraldo just throws another punch in. And now Spring wants to go. He's taking a punch. Scott Metcalf, he's let go. Just let them go. As here's Trumbley's come out. Trumbley's come out. Oh my word, Trumbley's got the penalty box. So Scott Allison. We're going to see the benches clear now. We're going to see the benches clear as Adam Smith's trying to get out. All the action's going on down here. We're going to see some heavy discipline going on as we're seeing them all getting involved. Nobody's really throwing punches down there. As the Sheffield Steelers fans, there's some fans trying to get at Terry Christensen on the bench. It's all going on the ice. Everybody's battling. Nobody's really throwing punches. There's a lot of grappling, a lot of holding on. As now we see Scott Metcalf. He's having a few words. Metcalf saying he wants to go. He throws another shot into the face of Corey Spring. And Corey Spring doesn't want to throw any punches. The linesman should just leave him. And he has done. Here's Scott Metcalf. Corey Spring going centre ice. The pugilist he's rolling up his sleeves. Everyone's turning around. And we're seeing Paul Baraldo's lying there, prostrate on the floor, as Trumbley goes to the penalty box. These two, the Spring throws one into the face of Metcalf. Metcalf's going to throw a couple here. Takes him down. Oh, that's a good wrestling move. There for holding on to one another as Metcalf's going again. Still, we're seeing some battling behind the back of the net with Dennis Vial. Dennis Vial with a big right hand into the face. He's holding on. But we think there's been another injury to Paul Baraldo as Mike O'Neill's getting involved now. Mike O'Neill's gone and pinned his man. Mike O'Neill's got Kevin Brown as we've seen Dennis Vial get involved. Good work by Mike O'Neill. Mike O'Neill's involved there. As Paul Baraldo, well, could this be the end of Paul Baraldo's career? He got hit from behind and looking for revenge. Paul Baraldo, now he's looking all right. He turns around and Paul Baraldo is going to skate across to the penalty box. He's surely going to be thrown out of this game as we see Rob Trumbley trying to get out the penalty box again. Trumbley's coming out now. He's going to force his way out the penalty box. He's going to be banned for a very long time, Colin Hazel.
Absolutely no doubt about it. Oh, they're going to go at it again. They're going to go at it again. This is outrageous. Absolutely outrageous.
Kirkham goes down to the ice and Vial gets involved now.
Oh dear, and he's going to go
everybody
as well.
And his grandmother getting involved here.
Absolutely shocking.
As we're seeing yet more stuff happening here.
It's so much now is going to depend on how much Simon Kirkham has seen of this. There's no doubt Baraldo has to go because it was Metcalf and Corey Spring initially that were going for the fight, and Baraldo chipped in after. No doubt that Trumbley's got to go. There's absolutely no excuse for coming out of a penalty box.
And also
like that.
Scott Metcalf's out the game.
No,
so's Paul Baraldo. So really
should Dennis Vial be for
that? As we've seen Dennis Vial's fought with everybody in the grandmother. We're going to have 3 men and a dog fighting in this game. Playing in this game. And let's hope that the cameraman, Chris, let's hope he's got everything, because the league are counting on him right now. As we see the two goalies just standing there, they're probably just comparing equipment.
Absolutely. I mean, what does a goalie do in these circumstances? We've seen some great goalie battles on this ice. Goodness only knows. Iron Jimmy Hibbert now with Newcastle had a great tussle once. But all sorts of players going into the box now. We almost forgotten that Scotty Allison was involved in that. Initially, Rick Brabant, well, everyone was involved, weren't they? Rob Tremblay. I mean, that was just extraordinary. He came bursting out of the box, and really, he's got this pantomime villain image in this game, and he's so much more than that. He's more dangerous than that, and he can be crueler and more wicked than that.
But what he did there is he killed Paul Beraldo, and I understand why Tremblay came out of the penalty box, and to be honest, give credit to the two coaches for keeping their players on the benches. They did very, very well for doing that. But the thing that Tremblay did to Paul Beraldo, first of all, could have re-injured his knee, and that was stupid of Paul Beraldo. We always knew it was going to be difficult for him this game. He's a very proud man. He's of Latin sort of ancestry and Italian blood, so that gives him that very, very volatile nature.
But that's what's extraordinary about how all that started, because it started with an elbow by Corey Spring, no doubt about it, to the head of Scott Metcalf, absolutely no doubt about it. But that's Scott and Corey's fight, and frankly Scott was dealing with it. Scott Metcalf was dealing with it on his own with Corey Spring. Paul Beraldo saw an opportunity to have a go at Corey Spring, and he should not have taken it. There's more going on down beneath us as they pick up all the equipment and just try and pick everything up, really. And the referee, Simon Kirkham, they've actually called the penalty box attendants out so they can explain clearly what he wants to happen here, Simon Kirkham. And he's got an awful lot to deal with now. There's things coming onto the ice now, and we can do without that. That is just stupidity now. The fans don't want to be involved in this. That really is. And the fans here have a history of dealing with it themselves, and they are dealing with it over in that block. And they're saying a few things to the people who did that, and that's quite right too, because there's no place for that in hockey, and there never has been.
I think what's going to happen here is we're going to see a call to the end of the period. We're going to see the referee, Simon Kirkham, just say, that's it, forget about it. Get rid of both teams, get them out of here, and we'll play the third period. Now the problem is, there's 15 minutes. It'd be all right if there was 3 minutes. Kirkham's really got to get a handle on this, and the handle he's got to get on this. As we've just seen the goalies down here, Mike O'Neill just stands there. Whereas Mazzoli is looking for equipment. Everybody's looking around hoping they can get their own equipment back.
Trying to work out whose is whose. This is the kind of thing really that gives hockey a bad name. It's the kind of thing that turns up on those reels of sport. And there goes Tremblay at the very least. The trademark long locks have gone. He's shaven headed now, and he looks more like the thug he showed himself to be there, really, because that was outrageous. There was no place for that at all in this game.
Let's hope the arena have got the security staff with the iron curtain between the 2 locker rooms downstairs, because this isn't just a battle that's happened in the heat of battle. This is a huge personal thing in between the 2 teams, and this is something that could carry on all season long, and it's just another thing that really spices up the rivalry between these 2 teams.
I suppose on the plus side for both sides, you want to see them, if you're the coach, sort this out now, mid-season. You don't want them sorting it out if they should happen to meet in the playoffs, because that's when you've got to concentrate on playing hockey and scoring goals. At least mid-season now, there's time to deal with it when and if something else should happen as a result.
Well, the Steelers' first chance to get a full lineup here at the Sheffield Arena. There's no doubt going to be many bands. I was actually talking to the Storm coach, Terry Christensen, before the start of the game. He says, you know, finally we've both got full teams to play each other. Yeah. And he was really happy about that. Well, forget about it, because it's 3 men and a dog on either bench, and I think Mike Blaisdell and Christensen could both be wanting to get up here.
Well, the door hasn't opened on the Steelers' penalty box yet to throw anyone out. So far, the only person to have actually left is Tremblay. Now the door opens, and Simon Kirkham's going to have a few words with the penalty box attendants. They're carrying on, trying to get the kit back together. There's conversations going on between fans and players just down beneath us, and we're still going to try and work out exactly what it is that's happening and who's going to be exiting this game. And you can't see all the Steelers players staying in this game, surely. How many of them are going to go is surely the only question here.
Well, you've really got to throw Metcalf out for 5+ game for fighting. If you stand centre ice, you take all your kits off, you do a slap shot, you stand there, you roll up your sleeves and say, right, Donny Bro time. You've got to throw them out.
You can't call that roughing, can you?
You can't. Handbags? No, not really. That was fighting. 5+ game fighting. Scott Metcalf's out of the game. Paul Beraldo, you've got to give him 3rd man in, and you'll probably give him a gross misconduct for basically getting involved where he shouldn't have done. Dennis Vial as he's talking to everybody. He's going to go off the ice now. He deserves to go off as well. He had 3 different fights. Jumped in. He did his job, though, to be honest. As a tough guy, Dennis Vial's got to protect Paul Barado, and he was there for him at all levels when Barado was involved with Tremblay, when Barado was involved with everybody else. As now the crowd are getting into it after almost like a stunned silence, actually, when everything was unfolding. I think that for the Manchester Storm, Tremblay's got to be out on a gross misconduct for jumping out the penalty box, and he should receive a hefty ban from the league. I think also you've got to kick out Corey Spring for his duel with Metcalf. Okay. Then basically you're looking down to some other penalties. I'm so glad it's the first 10 minutes, Colin, because you're going to have to work all these out.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to feed them to us.
I'm not sure I've got enough ink in the pen. I'm really not. It was an extraordinary sequence of events, and it was all kicked off. The extraordinary thing was that Corey Spring himself kicked it off. He stuck an elbow into the face of Scott Metcalf, which wasn't necessary.
But this is what I was saying a little earlier on when Scott Allison challenged him. Corey Spring looked him in the eye and he dropped his gloves. And I think that's one of the things, you look at a guy like a Dennis Vial, and the reason why he's respected league-wide is because Dennis will go out and he'll play. Occasionally he will give the stick a little bit, but generally if he's upset with you, he taps you on the shoulder, he says, right, you want to go, let's go, because he doesn't mind, he knows his own ability. And the problem is, if you look at a guy, you drop your gloves and your turtle trying to draw penalties, that's only going to frustrate other players. And if you go around throwing your weight around, the nature of hockey is what goes around comes around. And if you're prepared to live by the sword, you've got to be prepared to die by it.
Absolutely. Well, we're still trying to sort out these penalties. Maybe here's some of the announcements now, and we'll try and sort these out. And we're still calling for people to come to the bench. We thought there was going to be an announcement there on exactly what was happening. And we're still waiting for it. We're still waiting for referee Simon Kirkham to finally sort all of this out. There are players stepping out of the box. Questions being asked as to exactly who's going to be going.
Scott Allison's going. He skates across now.
Now, he may just be out for the rest of the period, of course. It's entirely possible that he's not...
It'd be difficult for him to be out, though. With there being 15 minutes and 9 seconds left, even if he gets 2 and 2 and a 10, he'll still be there till the end.
Absolutely. So we think Scott Allison's gone. He sort of shook his head and shrugged his shoulders. The others are sitting there trying to look innocent, as if they're not going to go. But you'd think they'd have got the message by now. Surely they have to be out of this game.
I'll tell you what, if Simon Kirkham doesn't throw out Corey Spring, he's made a huge mistake. And I'm not saying that he won't, but I think Corey Spring has got this little thing about him whereby he does seem very innocent. You drop your gloves, then your turtle, you seem innocent.
He took all his kit off. It was like something out of Slapshot. He took all his kit off. He went to centre ice and he had a fight. You cannot leave someone in the game after that. There's absolutely no excuse for it. We'll come up with this absurd compromise in hockey these days where anything less than an outright slugfest like that is called roughing, and you don't get thrown out for it where you should do. But that was a fight. Absolutely no question about it.
I don't understand, though, the way the NHL has the rules. When there's a fight, you get a 5-minute major penalty for fighting. You go and sit down, you cool your heels for 5 minutes. You come out again, you get a 5-minute major. If you go again, you get another 5 minutes. You come out again and you fight, you're out the game. That's it.
Simple,
three strikes, you're out. Dead easy. Whereas here you get some contorted rule whereby the guy doesn't get a major penalty, so he doesn't pick up any penalty points. If you get a major penalty, like a 5-minute penalty, you should pick up penalty points. So if you go around fighting every game, you know that every third or fourth game you're going to get a ban coming on your door.
I think it's time for the administrators in this game to get it sorted out. Is fighting okay in the game, or is it not? If it's not, then make it clear that it's not, and drop the absurd thing about roughing. But it's part of the game. It's always been part of the game. It's a rough old sport, and things are sorted out sometimes with fists. So let's call it a fight. Let's call it what it is. And as you say, let's dish out these 5-minute penalties until it's just gone that step too far, and then you can throw someone out. And I think it's time to codify it, organise it, if necessary, break away from the IIHF rules to do it. And that's the International Ice Hockey Federation, which it makes most of the rules that run in the British leagues. And if necessary, make a separate ruling and just say, right, we're going to do it the NHL way, because it is so much better, it's so much cleaner, and it's so much more honest, fundamentally. At a very fundamental level, it's honest. We're still waiting to find out. The penalty box attendant's been on the ice, writing down penalties. She's talked to Simon Kirkham through the glass, as she usually would, and still we have no announcement as to exactly what's happened. We've seen Scott Allison go, we've seen Rob Tremblay go, we've seen Dennis Vial go, although he was equipment-less, so he could have just been going to get his equipment sorted out. Here we go. I'll try and relay them to you as I can. We're asking not to throw things onto the ice,
because that's just silly.
And there was some talk there, I think, of Apparently coins have been thrown onto the ice here at the Sheffield Arena, and that really is appalling. I've never, well, I have only once seen behaviour like that at an ice hockey arena, and it was this season, which is slightly worrying. If that's a development in fan behaviour, there is an argument that says when you see players behaving like that, you can't really blame the fans, but that's always been the thing about ice hockey, that rough stuff stays very firmly where it belongs, which is on the surface of the ice, and that's certainly where it was. Oh, what, it must be a good 10 minutes ago now. It feels like we've been trying to sort out just exactly what is going on with these penalties.
I'll tell you what would you give for a Maury Hansen standing there and taking notes, names, numbers and addresses, getting ready to get everyone out? Because Simon Kirkham, surely he can't remember who was fighting with who. I mean, we're struggling here, and it's our job.
I think we've just got it down just about right. You just throw people out. Just throw them out. If in doubt in these circumstances, just get rid. There's really no harm in it, and there's no worries about it. If in doubt, Dennis Vial's come back now from the dressing room, from getting his hand patched up by the looks of things. He's got his hand strapped there, and he's come back, and he's just about to get back into the penalty box. I think Simon Kirkham may be telling him he's going to have to leave again any second, so not to sit down for too long. He has sat down.
If you're the referee in this situation, you've got to take control of the game, and the only way you're going to take control of this game is if you kick them out. That's it. It's the only thing that you can do, and you've got to get rid of them all, otherwise they'll all start going again. That's basically the problem.
There's an awful lot of unfinished business out there, isn't there? There's well, someone's going to have to pay for what Trumbley did, and Trumbley's not here, so it'll be someone else. OK, now on the board, we've got 2 minutes against the Steelers and 5 minutes against the Storm. Here we go. Here go the penalties.
We'll keep quiet for this. Oh, that's weak. Craigwell gets this one wide, then we're back underway. Finally, we've got ice hockey here at the Sheffield Arena, and I tell you what, Colin Hazelden at the next break in play will take you through what's going on here. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Both the goalies are now cold. They've had 15 minutes without any action as Gallant comes forward. He gets it to Flickle. Flickle fires this one just wide of Mike O'Neill. He looked a bit shaky there as the Storm looked to come forward. Steelers break back the other way, though. Good work by Dale Craigwell as he picks up the puck. He comes into the zone, just looks to fire this one back onside. That hits Sebastian's stick. He would have, well, should have really finished that one from point blank range as this one comes all the way around again. This one's fired up to Gallant. Just chipped in by Chris Miller, and Jeff Sebastian is going to pick it up on the far board. Steelers 2 apiece here at the Sheffield Arena against the Manchester Storm. Yet another live ice hockey match where we're bringing you the very best in the action here. Myself, Seth Bennett and Colin Hazelden alongside me as the Steelers come forward again. Intercepted though, and Bobick comes back the other way. Good speed by the ex-Team Canada man. Brent Bobick twisting and turning on the far side. He stops, plays it inside to Robinson. Robinson gets this one forward to Allard. He snapped it just wide. And now Perry Johnson goes back. And the Steelers should just about pick up the puck. They don't, though. Allard brings it back. Short nearly fell to the ice. As he picks up what's going on here. And Cale Short looks to come forward. Short again. Plays it forward towards Simpson. Chris Miller's there. He gets taken hard into the board. Steelers should get the puck Now with Warren Norris. Warren Norris on his backhand side. He's just stopping and turning. He's under pressure from Greg Bullock on the boards there. And still more good work from Kent Simpson. Simpson struggled though. He was brought down to the ice. And Bullock, well, his pass was intercepted by Shane McCosh. Steelers looking to tidy up in their own end. Good work by Shane McCosh though. Just stopping. We're probably going to see now 15 minutes of straight hockey as Simpson comes forward. Simpson looks to drop this one off to Norris. Norris fires. That's deflected high. And Colin Hazelden, first of all, give us the penalties, then give us your opinion on the penalties.
Okay, here's the penalties. I think when I read them, you'll understand what our opinion is going to be. 24:51, all these penalties timed at. Here is what has happened. The two players thrown out, Scott Allison and Rob Trumley. Scott Allison got a 2+2 plus game misconduct penalty. Rob Trumley got a 5-minute penalty. That's a major penalty, plus a game misconduct, plus a match penalty. Now that's a guaranteed suspension. So what that means is in a few minutes time we are going to have a minute, in fact 2 minutes time, we're going to have a minute of power play time for the Sheffield Steelers. That's the power play upshot of this. Numbers 9, 18 and 32 for the Sheffield Steelers. That is of course Paul Baraldo, Dennis Vial and Scott Metcalf got 2+2 for roughing and a 2 minute for unsportsmanlike conduct. That's what they got.
The Manchester... Sorry to interrupt you. The Manchester Storm don't have enough players in the penalty box right now.
Well, we'll see them sort that out a little bit later on, I imagine. On the other side, number 42, Corey Spring, one of the key players in all of this. Number 7, Kevin Brown, and number 33, Blair Scott, got exactly the same. 2+2 for roughing, plus a 2 minute unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. So they're all going to sit out for 6 minutes. Now, you asked for my opinion. It's weak. Frankly, very, very weak indeed. Scott Metcalf and Corey Spring had a fight. There's no question about it. They took all their kit off. They had a fight in the middle of the ice. You have to get thrown out for that. Paul Baraldo was third man in at least twice. You've got to throw him out for that. You've got to be strong in this. And I think when those players come out on the ice, we might just see it happen all over again.
Well, next break in play, we'll talk about why the Manchester Storm have too few players in the penalty box. And I think this has been a mistake as Brabant tripped up his man. No penalty called. As Flickle comes forward for the Storm, coming in, going to fire this one. Goal, Storm! And Mike O'Neill won't be happy with that, but we talked about the goalies being cold, and there was Marty Flickle. He's been one of the ones willing to play ice hockey this evening, and he just fired that one home. And O'Neill is going to be nothing but disappointed as the Manchester Storms take the lead for the first time in this game. Storm 3, Steelers 2.
And it's the Storm who've really taken advantage of the slightly dull atmosphere following that particular incidence of penalties the best. And now they're going to change goaltenders, the Sheffield Steelers. Mike Torchy is going to come on for Mike O'Neill. And that's a little bit harsh, I think, on Mike O'Neill. But maybe he just wants to wake things up a little, does Mike Blaisdell. Maybe he thinks that Torchy will be that little bit more focused, having been on the bench for that. And that's disappointing for the Sheffield Steelers. Great for the Manchester Storm. They've come out, they've taken advantage of the hiatus in play, really, and scored a goal on it. Brilliant work from them.
Storm come forward again. Flickle trying to go around the outside of Adam Smith. Smith just gets his stick snapped. He's now playing without one. It's going to have to just be very physical. As Flickle comes in again, good work by Craigwell as that's fired around. Tough shot. The Sheffield Steelers as Smith now gets Craigwell's stick. Good thinking by the Steelers forward. And now the Steelers try and clear one. This one's going to come towards Cale Short. Short's got speed going around the outside. As he gets it to Longstaff. Longstaff behind the back of the net gets this one back to Craigwell. Craigwell's on his own. Steelers have got no men out there just about. As now it comes to McCosh. McCosh dips it, goal! Beautiful work on the boards. It was 2-on-4 for the Sheffield Steelers. McCosh came off the bench. And there he was to finish a lovely feed from David Longstaff. Well, we've had goals, we've had fights, we've had everything here at the arena on New Year's Eve. Oh my word, 11:45 remaining. Steelers 3, Storm 3.
Breathless stuff, isn't it? And it was an extraordinary work on the boards, but even more extraordinary, McCosh just stepping into the play and managing to get the tip. He was in just the right place, coming in on the far post, stick slightly up in the air. He just managed to get stick to puck, redirect it into the back of the net, and the Steelers straight back in. And you've got to say probably straight back on top in this game now, because the momentum swung back their way, and it's all about them capitalising on it as far as the Steelers are concerned. They're at home, and now this should lift the crowd again and get them back behind them, because the crowd have been hesitant and quiet following all that fighting.
Simpson just holds on behind the back of the net. He's trying to flip it around towards Weaver. He didn't read that though. And the Steelers are going to be forced backwards as the Storm come forward with 80. He's checked hard by McCosh. as we've got 10 seconds remaining before the Steelers go on a power play. That could be their chance to extend the lead, as now they go back to full strength. Steelers have got Warren Norris going onto the ice. Norris was offside though, so that's going to be called back. Right, this is the reason why the Manchester Storm don't have enough players in the penalty box. The 5-minute major was on Rob Tremblay. The other 3 players that are in the penalty box are Blair Scott, Kevin Brown, and also the number 42, who's the guy that's caused a lot of the problems in one way or another through his choice or not, Corey Spring. They've got a guy coming out in 1 minute. That's not going to make any sense. I can't believe there's not been one of the Sheffield Steelers that's going to pick that up, because the Storm can't have a player come out the penalty box now, because those players are still going to be serving an extra 1 minute on their penalty.
I'm just trying to make sure that we have got the right players labelled in the box, and that one of the players who's actually serving their 6 minutes isn't out in the locker room or something getting equipment sorted. But
Steelers on the power play then with Paul Ades. This one goes down low.
That certainly does look like quite a serious error, doesn't it? And you're right, you'd think someone would have picked up on that by now, but no one has, so prepare for more chaos in about 30 seconds' time.
This one's fired in, this one's fired wide, and the Steelers are going to go forechecking with Jeff Sebastian. Sebastian tries to get this inside to Brabant. Brabant holds on. This one's chipped all the way wide, and the Steelers still pressing on the power play with 16 seconds remaining. Longstaff, he got the assist on the last goal.
Just seen the player
come forward.
Sorry to interrupt. Just seen the player stand up. Mike Morin is in there serving Tremblay's penalty.
So that's fired just wide by Flickle. The Steelers are working hard. That means there's one player though that hasn't served his penalty. Fingers crossed he wasn't on the bench, as Longstaff, nice move to Ady. Ady's got it now. Gets it to Craigwell. Craigwell taps that towards the net, but it was stopped by Newmeyer, and then Newmeyer's going to ice this. And after the icing, to take you through to the end of the period with the game tied up at 3. Colin Hazelden.
Well, it's all gone a bit strange here at the Sheffield Arena, and I don't think there's any other word to use for it, really. An extraordinary on-ice brawl involving 10 out skaters, but not the goaltenders, for once, here at the Sheffield Arena, erupted. That took a long, long time to sort out. We had things thrown onto the ice by the crowd, certainly not something we want to see. That meant the ice had to be sorted out. Down just in the other end, though, Cale Shorts picks it up, he fires in, glove down by Mazzoli, who will hang on to that. Another face-off, and we've had 2 goals as well. One for the Manchester Storm. They seem to be taking control. 27-33. Less than a minute later, though, Shane McCosh came right back for the Sheffield Steelers. Great feed from David Longstaff, and got the tip for the equaliser. So it's 3 apiece once again. Effectively, what's happening is we're starting at 0-0 in this game, about halfway through, and someone's got to get the crowd into this now, because they've gone very, very quiet. They really don't know how to react to everything that's gone on. Those players will be coming out very shortly as the shot comes in and gets turned away. Kent Simpson goes crashing into the boards to try and contest for that. The Storm should carry that away. Weaver's getting in there. It's physical once again as Kent Simpson carries his man. At least the hitting started now. Norris flicks it in towards McCosh. McCosh is on the blue line. McCosh just putting it in down low towards Short. Short trying to feed it through, but that was blocked, and then Short's pushed away from the puck, and it's bounced off the boards by the Storm. Picked up comfortably enough by McCosh. He's got Simpson as a possible outlet down to our left and uses him. Steelers going then from right to left down in front of us, but for the moment the Storm force the puck in. Weaver picks it up, lazily circles just behind his net, and then makes himself some room to skate away. 4 players back for the Manchester Storm sat on the blue line ready to mop this up, which they duly do, with Robinson putting it around now towards that left-hand side, just bouncing off that left-hand board now, just waiting for the next break in play, I think, and we'll see some more players coming back out onto the ice, which should be interesting. Brabant tips it down on the blue line. He's looking for Ady. Ady wasn't able to get there. Sebastian's got to go in there and challenge for the Steelers. As away they come with former Steeler Brobbick to the Manchester Storm, flicks it in, just sort of hacked clear by Rick Brabant there, and then poked clear comfortably enough by Jeff Sebastian. He's gone for the icing, and all the players stand up in the penalty box, and now they step back out onto the ice. And by my reckoning, at least 3 of those players should be nowhere near the ice surface right now. 2 Steelers, 1 member of the Manchester Storm.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, none of the Steelers really should be there. Vial should be kicked out. Beraldo should be kicked out. Metcalf should be kicked out. Spring should go. Brown should probably go because he fought with everyone and their granny. Dennis fought with everyone and their granny twice. As we're going to see. Oh,
Well, we'll see. I mean, maybe it'll calm it down. It sometimes does. Sometimes you expect fireworks in this game after something like that.
Here we go. They're all out there on the face-off, Colin.
Well, we'll see if it happens now. Rick Brabant's contested it. Metcalf's in there to try and carry it away. He's playing hockey for the moment through centre ice. He tips it forward, gets the little bump and forces Mazzoli out of his net to try and bounce it off the boards. Brown's in there to try and bring it down. Can't do so. It comes across to Vial, left-hand side, well away from Brown. He bounces it off the boards. Around behind, Adie's in there to challenge for the Sheffield Steelers and to try and hold it in. Can't quite do so. Rick Brabant's got it now. He's got Metcalf out in front. Brabant's going all on his own, trying to stuff it underneath Mazzoli. Mazzoli closes the door as Rick Brabant goes tumbling to the ice. Away comes Pierre Allard. Not seen a huge amount of him for the Manchester Storm. He's fired it forward towards Brown. Brown's trying to get it off towards that left-hand side, towards Spring, but couldn't do so. This should be interesting, just to see what develops here as this game goes on now. Fired down the ice, it flies behind, and if Metcalf can get there first, he can hold it up, but the whistle's gone anyway for an offside as he went on in there, chasing after that icing, and it'll mean the face-off will come back into neutral ice and we'll begin all over again. And the players involved have all gone to the bench, some of them looking to be holding themselves just a little bit gingerly, maybe the odd hand or wrist just a little bit sore from all that wrestling.
The good news though for British ice hockey is that Paul Baraldo is back out there as he limps off the ice. It'll be interesting to see whether he's struggling. He's got a grimace on his face now as he skates.
He's certainly not stopped him wrestling though as he went in there with Neumeier in towards that corner, but the whistle went nonetheless for the icing. It'll come all the way back down into Steelers territory.
Just to wind back a little bit earlier on, Cale Short had a fantastic shot, and I think if we had the facility for a replay, you'd see that ring right off the left-hand post.
So it flicks away and behind. Paul Baraldo trying to get rid of it. He's brought it down once again. He's still inside his own territory as he bounces it off the boards towards Smith. Smith goes underneath Simpson and away goes Norris now. Norris winds up for the shot. Mazzoli well out to close the angle, and Mazzoli's done really well since he stepped in for Trofimenkov a little bit earlier on in this game.
He has. He's been very impressive, very, very calm. I think that's the thing. Trofimenkov looked like he was all over the place, really a bit nervous. Same thing really with Mike O'Neill. He didn't have his usual calming influence. Mike Torture just looks very, very calm. We have a rather strange situation now, though, whereby half of the Manchester fans could be leaving because they're just being informed that because of snow conditions, the A57 Snake Pass is closed. So's the Woodhead Pass. The only route open is the M62 and there's trouble on it.
Well, the players are trying to ignore that and get it stuffed in underneath. That doesn't look good for my journey home either. Here come the Manchester Storm then, down this right-hand side. They're away now. Oh, are they going now? They're racing through on goal. Here comes the shot, turned away by Mike Torture. First big question asked of the big man, and he came up trumps. Away go the Manchester Storm now. They did great work then. Here goes David Longstaff looking to bring it forward. There's a whistle going to go. There's going to be a penalty, and it's going to go against the Sheffield Steelers there for that little bit of a tangle, and it's going to be a holding call against the Sheffield Steelers. Still the questions are being asked about it, but Jason Weaver bashes the plexi on his way in. He's not happy with the call, but it's been made. The Steelers will have to defend a penalty kill. Will have to go on the penalty kill for a couple of minutes.
As well. Yeah, currently they've been killing penalties at around 94%, which is pretty much unheard of. Only allowing 6% of power plays to score on you. It's not too bad at all, but the penalty there is on Jason Weaver. A 2-minute holding, timed at 33 minutes and 11 seconds.
Worth pointing out, Manchester Storm's first 2 goals in this game came on the power play, so not too comfortable this afternoon. Cale Short out on the backhand, bounces it off the boards. Craigwell bounces off the boards as well, looking for Rick Brabant. They're going to try and get something going by the looks of things there, the Steelers, even though they're a man down. But here comes Miller now for the Manchester Storm. He skates beautifully, doesn't he, for a defenseman. Flicks it off the boards, around behind. Torture stops it and then tries to fire it out. That was dangerous for a moment, but he gets it the length of the ice, and in fact that'll count as a shot on goal as it's played out by Mazzoli to Miller. Miller, the long pass up. Looking there for Flickle, doesn't quite get to him, but the Storm can still get it going now. Allard's waiting for the pass, it won't come, driven shot, just going wide from Kevin Gallant, and it rang right off the boards. Last
night in Newcastle, the Steelers scored a short-handed goal when Mike Torture did the same thing, took it behind his net, and he fed it to the red line. He actually fired over the top, right over the crossbar of his own goal. And he fed it right to the stick of Jason Weaver, who skated 1-0 and scored.
Here we go now with Brown. Lovely move from Brown to try and get the shot off. He's got it to the back post. Lovely goal, Manchester Storm. That was a work of art to finally get Gallant the shooting opportunity at the near post. They tic-tac-toed it around. Beautiful work there, bringing it down, feeding it in. Flickle at the far post, Gallant at the near post, in past a stranded Mike Torchia. Yet another power play goal for the Manchester Storm. Sheffield Steelers 3, Manchester Storm 4.
Beautiful. That's what the power play is all about. One-touch passing. And a good friend of Mike Torture is Trevor Gallant, and there he was to just upset Mr. Torture a little.
And he won't have much reason to be too upset about that. He did all he could, really. He was trying to cover 23 angles at once. First Brown as he stepped in, and he pulled a lovely move to create the space in the first place, just on the top of the circle, and he had to watch for that, and then he had to watch for Flickle at the far post. But Flickle's so bright, rather than doing the automatic thing, which is to shoot for the post just in front of you, he turned it across the face of goal, and there he was, Trevor Gallant, free and open and able just to roof the puck with no hope at all of Mike Torchia making up the ground. He is quick between the pipes, but not that quick. That's just gone under the skates there of Carpenter and trips him up as the puck actually went underneath him. He stepped on it, and it was a comedy moment for a moment. But here comes Rick Brabant now with 5-on-5, of course. Metcalf feeds it out towards the right-hand side, works for the return, gets the return, just turned away from the net. And the Manchester Storm happy with that, because the Steelers oh so quickly nearly back on terms there. Jeff Sebastian picks up the icing and will bring the face-off all the way back into Storm territory. And the Steelers just need to settle it down again and maybe look for the quick reply once more.
Marty Flickle's had a distinguished career in North America, played a lot in the IHL before he came over to England last year to play with the Nottingham Panthers. He struggled a bit last year, though. He had a few problems with concussions, which kept him out towards the back end of last year. But the Storm and Steelers went for his signature during the summer, and it found out that the Storm were going to be the team to sign him, and this is the first time he's really impressed me this year.
Fed in by Sebastian, brought down by the Storm and cleared by the Manchester Storm. Good work from them. As we go down into Steelers territory, Craigwell clearing there on the backhand. Longstaff, long cross-ice hopping pass to Weaver. Weaver brings it down, tries to chip it just inside. Out comes Mazzoli from his net to cover.
Well, here's a situation where Terry Christensen, the coach of the Manchester Storm, he's got a short bench in this situation. Doesn't have a whole lot of options offensively to choose from, but he's just opening the door and he's sending them out shift after shift. And he's going to be the happier of the two camps right now. The Steelers should have put the game to bed in the first period at 2-0 up. Then they've allowed the Storm to come back into it, and the Storm, to be quite honest, deserve the lead in this one because they've played the better hockey.
They certainly have. They played the sharper hockey, and that last goal really was beautiful. It really was a lovely, lovely goal. No doubt about that whatsoever. Smith picks it up in neutral ice for the Steelers. Turning, Beraldo, looking to show no ill effects now. That was a nice twist and turn, and his knee seems to be holding up very well indeed. So that obviously not damaged in that check from behind from Trombley, but away come the Storm now. Gallant comes in, just drops it off for Flickle. They exchange passes, of course, for that goal. Brown's out there as well. He was the one who did perhaps the hard work initially. Sandwiched there was goal scorer Gallant behind the net, but it won't matter. The Steelers can clear it. Simpson on the chase against Johnson. Johnson trying to clear it. Simpson's picked it up. Simpson's got the opportunity. Shakes the shot, takes it, just bounces off Mazzoli really, and down on the ground there to clear it was Robinson. He's not got rid of it entirely though. It's in that corner. Short might be able to get in here and get a stick on it. He could, but only as far as Robinson. Will bounce it off the near boards. Send it down the length of the ice. Sebastian to pick it up, get the whistle and get the icing, take it back into Storm territory.
I'll tell you what, a play by the big defenseman Robinson, lying down on the ice, and the puck was there for Ken Simpson just to fire home. He had a half-empty net to go to. That was Robinson just lying down, managed to somehow get onto his knees and just flick it into the corner to divert the danger.
Well, Rick Brabant then to take the face off. He'll be up against Bullock. Bullock it is who wins it, but Metcalf in after the puck as it goes towards the boards to try and contest it. Kicked away by Miller and cleared away by the Storm. Kept in, though, well by Ady. Brought down in the end by Chris Miller. Miller skating through central ice now. He's got to wind up and drive it. That takes a kick and a bounce, and Miller will go back after it. Feed it in behind. Bobick lets it go. Neumeier behind the net now. Looking up, Spring, behind the net now. Looking up, fires it across. Here comes Bullock driving in. Just taken down by Brabant. Oh, had to close the door quickly to Torture there as the snapshot came in. McCosh. Brabant now. Brabant skating away. 1-on-2 for the moment. He's got Metcalf up with him though, and he's got McCosh joining the play as well. And Brabant's done very well to keep hold of the puck. Metcalf in to help him out now as Brabant goes for a tumble on the ice. Some of the fans didn't like that, but the Steelers players have kept it going now. Short skating in, but that pass too far in front of him and should be cleared comfortably. Is indeed neutral ice. McCosh drops it off, short circles. McCosh looking for options. Craig was in front of him. McCosh goes alone, pulls a little bit of a move on the other number 77 for the Manchester Storm. That's Miller. Feeds it in behind now. Weaver looking to sort something out, shape up. He was looking for Carpenter on the blue line, but Carpenter just stepped inside a few steps, looking for the right opportunity, and it wasn't a heads-up pass from Weaver. It was a pass to where he thought Carpenter would be, rather than where he thought he actually was. Vial to pick this one up. Nice move, just to keep it going. Longstaff bounced it off the boards. Craigwell's got a chase on with Johnson, who has been beaten a few times by fast-skating Steelers. Weaver takes a stumble as he tries to hold it up. Craigwell's got it back and puts it between his legs to Weaver. Weaver, Carpenter's asking for it on the blue line, but Weaver's going to go for the slope himself. He's got in there on the backhand, just feeds it in, looking for the lucky bounce, nets off its moorings, whistle goes. And I think there might just be a penalty in there. The whistle has gone, there's going to be no penalty there. The net comes off its mooring. There's anger because the Steelers feel it was deliberately brought off.
That's right. This is what this line of the Sheffield Steelers does very, very well. Jason Weaver and David Longstaff work the board so hard, and when they've got such an inspirational centre as Dale Craigwell, he's such a smooth skater and a heads-up hockey player, he enables them just to work the boards hard and create all kinds of trouble there, where Weaver is able to skate from the corner basically untouched.
Craigwell wins a face-off and wins it well, gets it back to Vial. Vial's just flicked that in, looking for the deflection, the bounce, the pick-up, not getting it. And the Storm will clear it. Bounces awkwardly off the plexi. Carpenter's after it and will pick it up. Skating backwards and still managing to get it out to Vial. Vial cross the ice to Craigwell. Craigwell picks it up on the boards, feeds it around towards Longstaff. Longstaff holds it on the boards. Weaver perhaps could have gone in a bit harder after that if he'd really wanted to win it. Longstaff in there trying to contest it, but Bullock should come away with this for the Manchester Storm. Bounces it off the boards. And it goes down the length of the ice. Vial has company here, and it gets checked off it by Morin, but Morin didn't know where the puck was. And that was lucky for the Sheffield Steelers, unfortunate for the Manchester Storm. There was a great chance at the other end now. Got a 2-on-1. Beraldo feeds it in, looking for the tip, doesn't quite get it. Oh, what a shame. That would have been a great goal from Norris. As they went 2-on-1 there, the Sheffield Steelers, Beraldo spins around on the backhand, feeds it back towards the line, fed across by Sebastian. Sebastian can't quite get there. Beraldo picks it up and fires straight into the side netting. Was that turned away by Mazzoli? We can't tell from this angle, but Steelers driving the net from all angles here just at the moment. One of them, Smith, going behind the net to pick it up, drop it off on the backhand towards Norris. They're cycling it beautifully here, the Sheffield Steelers. They really want this equaliser before the second period interval. Beraldo in there tussling, in there fighting Gallant off, looking to find a way clear as we've got, 15 seconds left on this period now. Driving in towards that far side is Sebastian to push it behind. That's going to go nowhere except towards Miller because the players have stopped, and away will come the Manchester Storm now. Can't quite pick it up. Can Galante neutralise, and that should just count down the seconds to the end of what's been an extraordinary period of hockey. Just unbelievable period of hockey. We'll watch what happens next because you never know when these periods come to a close. Sometimes stuff can develop, but no one wants any of it. Everyone's just skating off calmly to the dressing rooms as it goes. A period dominated by an extended period of fighting and then an extended period of discussion as to exactly who's going to get which penalties. Still, I think referee and linesman are discussing all of those incidents, and everything that went on in that period really was a very, very strange period of hockey indeed. And they're still discussing it, Simon Kirkham and co. And of course, at the end of it all, 3 more goals, and the Manchester Storm in the lead, away from home, at what the Sheffield Steelers would like to think of as a fortress, and indeed, which has been a fortress for much of this season.
The Storm are going to be very, very happy. They don't care what else has happened, but the net result is the Steelers are leading. The Storm are leading, and the Steelers are struggling. They're not creating the kind of work offensively because they've just been thrown off their game. They've been thrown off their game chasing Coy Spring. They've been thrown off their game with all the fighting. And the Steelers coach, Mike Blaisdell, now has to say, hold on a second, let's sort things out. Let's get back to basics and let's get back to playing Steeler hockey. The Storm coach, Terry Christensen, has to say, well, hold on a second. We're leading the game. Let's close it out. We don't have to do anything. Let's make them come and beat us now. Let's let them take cheap shots if they want to. Let's just...
There.
Okay.
We're still... You've still got the little bit of chat we had on the end, yeah? Okay. Are you rolling?
Right, do it.
Okay.
Maria's back together. I'm with you, baby.
Simon Kirkham then, centre ice, ready to restart this third period. Seth Bennett will take you through it in a minute. Just before we start, though, we were castigating Simon Kirkham for his calls. We called them weak. after that fight. But the next 15 minutes of play seemed to prove him right and us wrong because nothing developed. Are you anticipating anything in this period?
Depends. If one team jumps up by 2 goals or goes down by 2 goals, then you're going to see some problems.
Well, the Steelers are down 3-4 against the Manchester Storm at home. League-leading Steelers. Let me remind you of that to take you through the opening moments of the third period. Here is Seth Bennett.
Steelers on offense immediately then as this one's fired across. Adam Smith keeps it in, fires this. That's deflected by Miller, and the Storm are going to skate out 3-on-2 if they're quick. They're not going to be able to though, so they rim it round the back of Mike Torch's net. And Jeff Sebastian's there. He's got this one wide to Jason Weaver. Weaver plays this one all the way around the boards. And the Storm get it back through Gallant. Nice stick work by him and Miller. And Miller's going to skate forward now. Return to the Storm after an unhappy time in Switzerland, did Chris Midler. He's been one of the keys to their success over the last few years. A real cog in their defence.
And it's when you see players like that out on the ice for the Manchester Storm, you do wonder how they're in the kind of problems they are, as we're seeing more develop just down beneath us. Simon Kirkham with a few words and a misconduct call against the Sheffield Steelers and against the bench. I think it's David Longstaff who's got the call and is going to have to go for a 10-minute misconduct penalty. Simon Kirkham holds up 10 fingers for the 10 minutes that David Longstaff is going to have to serve, usually for something said out of turn there just down beneath us. He said a few things to him. David Longstaff talked back and instantly goes in the box.
I'll tell you what, do you think Simon Kirkham's changed his shirt for a reason?
You wonder. 10 minutes, Simon Kirkham just making it clear.
Simon Kirkham's changed his shirt so he doesn't have his name on the back anymore.
Possibly.
One way of avoiding abuse.
That might make it easier for him to get out of the arena. You wonder whether it got ripped in all that fighting. It's always possible, isn't it? Anyway, here we go again. Johnson
coming forward for the Storm then. Steelers are going to go back after losing their influential assistant captain David Longstaff. As the Steelers come forward again, Brabant gets this one wide to Beraldo. Beraldo around the outside, cuts in towards Brabant. He fires that. Steelers score! Kent Simpson on the doorstep. Great work from Brabant and Beraldo around the outside, and there he was, Kent Simpson, just to tap that one home. And with just 1 minute gone in this third and final period, Steelers have tied it at 4. Steelers 4, Storm 4.
Well, what a response from the Sheffield Steelers at the opening of this third period. That'll be just what they wanted. It might just calm them down. It might just settle things. We talked about Kent Simpson earlier on, didn't we? What a vital part of the Steelers machine he's been. Unexpectedly key to the Sheffield Steelers this season. And he's shown why, yet again. Outstanding finish, just when the Sheffield Steelers needed it. And still they're talking to the referee. And really, from their point of view, they want to leave that out because they're back on terms now. They want to concentrate on the hockey.
Face off. Taken. The Steelers win the puck. Cale Short. Now the Storm are going to be thrown onto their back foot here. They're going to have to defend well as the Steelers are going to throw everything forward. McCosh gets this one back. Got it a bit too far back though. And Cale Short plays this one forward to Warren Norris. Norris coming in is going to fire long distance. Glove down easily by Mazzoli. Beraldo picking up his second point of the night on that. We're going to get the official call from Colin Hazelden very shortly, as the Steelers are forced back. And Colin, now's a chance.
Yes, that official call coming at 41 minutes dead. It's 27. Kent Simpson, the scorer, assists from Rick Brabant and Paul Beraldo. The penalty was a bench 10-minute misconduct coming at 40 minutes and 53 seconds. A bench penalty.
Steelers can't keep the puck in the zone. McCosh plays this one wide. Comes all the way to Norris. Norris gets this one to 80. 80 playing this one forward to Metcalf. Metcalf and 80 have played very well together in this game, along with Rick Brabant being very, very impressive. As Miller has it behind his own net. He's looking to bring this one forward. Still Miller holding on to the puck. Dumps this one in. Offside's going to be called. This should be in. 17:43 remaining. Steelers and Storm tied at 4 apiece here, as Jeff Sebastian played both sides of the Pennines. Gets this one to Carpenter. Carpenter gets run hard into the boards. The Steelers try and break away now as it comes to Craigwell. Craigwell's hooked back, but he gets it to Weaver. Weaver one-handed to 80. 80 double shift in here. Gets this one wide. He just dumps it round towards the net. Carpenter pinches in. Flickle takes a hit. Two teammates from last year, those two. It's in the black, red and gold of Nottingham though. Both of them made switches in the summer. And they're probably quite glad they did with the state of the league at the moment. As Flickle comes into the zone, he drops that one off. Steelers try and clear though through Rick Brabant, and they are going to go clear through Rick Brabant. He's got Weaver with him. That's poke checked away by Perry Johnson, and the Storm come back. This could be a wide open hockey game here as Gallant brings it into the zone, fires this one all the way across. Great defense from Jeff Sebastian though, just to slow things down. Comes back to Flickle. Flickle fires just wide, comes to Gallant. He had a chance on the doorstep. Not able to apply to finish though. As you see Kevin Brown, he's going to go for hooking. Big smile on his face. Time of the penalty is going to be 43 minutes and 20 seconds. Didn't see the signal made by Simon Kirkham, but Colin Hazelden is going to be across that. Oh, and Brown's out of this game now. As he's snapping, he's going to go after the referee. Brown going absolutely mad. He's going to be thrown out of the game. Steelers want to watch themselves here because Kevin Brown might try and take somebody with him. Just got to be careful he doesn't run into our goalie. Mike Torchip, the goalie down to the left-hand side. As we now see Troy Newmeyer having a few words. If he's not careful, he's going to go too.
Well, we're still waiting for confirmation of exactly what the call is. Kevin Brown being put in the penalty box, maybe snapped, maybe said something out of turn. Certainly he was bashing his stick against the outside of the penalty box. That doesn't look favourably on by referees.
I think as much as anything, the referees have got to be upset. And Simon Kirkham's made the right decision, because what he's done is he's made a statement saying that he thought that the call was wrong. And even if the call was wrong, he's embarrassed Simon Kirkham by showing it so publicly. Well,
what's happened here is that it's not as clear as him simply being thrown out. He got a 2+10 misconduct, did Kevin Brown. We don't know what for, obviously at 43-20. All his talking is bashing his stick against the side of the plex. He earned him another 10 minutes with less than 20 in the game. That means he's going to sit the entire game out. He might as well go and take an early shower.
Well, he has them, and it's left the Steelers on a power play. And the Storm really are in a hole here. If the Steelers are able to score, this could leave the game in a difficult situation for them, but it has been a cracker as Kent Simpson brings it round the outside. Good work by Simpson. This one goes all the way around to Rick Brabant. Brabant just holds on. He's going to get this one to Beraldo. Beraldo got 2 assists already tonight. Just holding on, gets it across to Craigwell. Craigwell, the forward playing the point, fires that one in. It's going to be fisted away by Miller, and the Steelers are going to try and get there first. They can't get there ahead of Newmeyer, though, and the Storm, well, he doesn't really know what to do with that one, did Troy Newmeyer. He just kind of got into neutral ice and stood there with the puck until he was forced to make a play. Steelers coming back. Shane McCosh comes into the zone, scored 1 goal tonight, fires this one round the back. Goes towards Paul Adey. Adey's just held up by Perry Johnson. Then Bullock's going to try and clear. Good work by Sebastian. And Sebastian coming around the outside. Fires this one round. Got a hard shot, Jeff Sebastian. Manages to get it all the way around. Scott Metcalf's there. He just throws his man down to the ice. Could have been called. Wasn't, though. And Perry Johnson now is going to get taken hard into the boards again. Steelers probably going to miss David Longstaff as he sits there serving his personal 10-minute penalty. As the whistle goes, as the puck popped out. But Colin Hazelden, this is really a key moment for both sides, isn't it?
It is. The remaining 35 seconds of this power play, crucial for both teams. If the Steelers can get a goal, they really are rolling towards a victory. And we haven't really talked about what a loss Kevin Brown's going to be. So industrious, so hard-working, with some great skills as well. I mean, he's an NHL standard player. We were talking about it earlier on. Huge loss for what now is a considerably foreshortened Storm bench.
Sebastian fires this one just wide. Going to be kept in. Good work by Carpenter. Gets that one out in front. Steelers can't get there first, though, as Carpenter does well. It's cleared by the Storm, and Mike Torchia is going to hold on to that. Such an asset to the Sheffield Steelers team because he handles the puck so well. Playing quite often like a third defenseman out there as the Steelers come forward with Adey. He snaps that one round the boards with just 10 seconds remaining on the penalty. Weaver has it. Weaver back to the point to Carpenter. Carpenter down low to Norris. Norris tries again. It's going to be cleared around the boards. Allard, sorry, that's Bobick who does well. Clears down the length of the ice. And Storm are back to full strength. Adey looks to bring it into the zone far side. He's just held up, and the Steelers are going to have to recycle this puck as Norris has it. Norris tries to play it into the zone. No Steelers are there, though. Puts his side in trouble as Morin comes forward. Morin working hard. He's not had a huge amount of ice time as he just gets pinned onto the boards there. Adam Smith does well to use his body. The Storm forwards not perhaps doing their job that well here. Scale Short plays this one. That's intercepted by Flickle. Though, and chance for Morin to go wide. Gets it back to Flickle. Fires this one into the body of Adam Smith. Smith stays down though. Good shot block by him. It's a trait of his game as the Steelers come forward again. Vial comes around, snaps that one, glove side. And a nice save by Mazzoli.
And over on the bench, we see the price of a shot block like that. Great block from Adam Smith. He's trying to skate it off now because that puck really caught him. It looks like it's his left thigh that is really caught, and he's just trying to skate it off now. He's round and round, just trying to get his thigh moving again, but every move is a grimace for him. Every move causes him pain. He really is hurting. So that puck really caught him four square then. Impressed he even got up, to be honest, and he's gone straight down the tunnel to get some treatment.
It's going to be fired around towards Johnson. Johnson loses out on that one. He's had a bit of a struggle tonight, Perry Johnson. Usually very impressive defenseman. Doesn't look like he's been that defensively sound this evening, as there's going to be no icing here. Cale Short touches up, gets it to Kent Simpson. Simpson looking to break out, goes cross ice towards Beraldo. Beraldo gets this one forward towards Brabant. Brabant with speed into the zone, round the outside of Johnson. Backhand side, comes out, long rebound. And the Steelers couldn't quite capitalise on that one, but they're going to try and recycle. Oh, and McCosh has lost out. Spring coming in all alone, snaps it. Oh, he's gone wide. There would have been a huge reaction if he would have put that one away. Steelers come forward again. Ken Simpson coming around the outside, got speed, snaps this one. Rebound's going to go to Paul Beraldo. Beraldo hacks it round the boards. Those Steelers are there. Dale Craigwell's going to go chasing, so Robinson's going to tidy up for the Manchester Storm with 13 minutes remaining on this period. Sebastian coming forward, looking to go around the outside. Good work by Sebastian. And still Sebastian plays out in front. Comes out. Oh, Weaver missed a gilt-edged chance. Steelers have to get back though now quickly as the Storm are going to break with Flickle. Flickle seems to be out there every single shift. And Brent Bobbick's just taken a stride offside. So the play's going to be called back.
Great opportunity for Weaver there. I think he was half celebrating as he went past. Puck though just seeming to come off the outside of the post there. And just before that, you were talking about Perry Johnson not having the greatest of games, and the reason why was exposed by Rick Brabant. He's not got the speed, Perry Johnson. He certainly doesn't seem to have it to cope with the likes of Brabant or Kent Simpson when they really turn on the Jets. Warren Norris can do it as well. Players like that are giving him a really hard time because they're beating him round the outside, and you don't like to see that when you're a defenseman.
Steelers in their own zone trying to work out with Jeff Sebastian. Comes forward. Breaks towards Newmeyer. He gets it to Miller. Miller skating forward. Got a hard shot if he can use it. He's been forced wide though. Good check on him by Jeff Sebastian. Sebastian and then Paul Adey with another good check, but the Storm have still got the puck. Comes out to Gallant. He fires. Kick save. Well played, Mike Torture. And the Steelers defence were missing in action there. As Weaver breaks back the other way, he's going to saucer this one towards Adey. Oh, great defensive play at the other end of the ice by Miller. He just managed to tip that one away, and Gallant gets this one forward, intercepted by Adam Smith. He's back out there, does well on Flickle, and there you go. Mike Torture is there to tidy up as Johnson was nearly too many men on the ice then. He gets pushed into the boards, and Flickle comes back the other way. The Storm looking to open up this game at every opportunity. As McCosh slides down, Torture falls to the ice. Now the Steelers are going to break back the other way. Steelers need to tighten this up. It's not their game playing run and gun hockey. As it comes back to Vial, he falls over as he shoots that. He won't be happy. Likely to stand up and club somebody actually as this one comes around. Warren Norris is worked into the boards by Gallant. This one breaks around the back of the net. Dennis Vial, there he goes. Gets Perry Johnson. Nice check though actually. Nothing illegal about that. As the Storm have too many men on the ice then for a second. Not going to be blown up though because the puck's in another area of the ice. Vial looking to come forward. Gets it towards Norris. Norris is going to go high. Adam Smith's going to go chasing. The defenseman pinching into the zone here. Picks up the puck first. Takes a hit. He's still going to get there. He's a good skater, Adam Smith. He's a big man as well, got a lot of size, but that was a poor pass. That lacks a little bit of vision as a defenseman. Drafted originally by the New York Rangers, Adam Smith. Brought to this country by the Bracknell Bees. Had one season there, won the league with them as Brabant fires this one. That goes just wide. They wouldn't have counted anyway because there was an offside. But Adam Smith, brought to this country by the Bracknell Bees, won the league with them last year. Already won the Benson and Hedges Cup and quite a successful stint here in England.
Yeah, and it's one of the stories of this season, hasn't it? The breakup of the Bracknell Bees. That championship-winning team has split up all over the place, principally following coach Dave Whistle to Belfast. And really, there's a failure of management there in Bracknell to keep players who did so well for you. Of course, they were going to be looking for pay rises, but for goodness sake, they've won you a championship. They deserve a bit extra, and it's players like Adam Smith you would have expected them to want to try and hang on to.
Flicked in, cross corner. Steelers' Steve Carpenter goes back there. He gets ridden in high and hard by Corey Spring. It comes back to Newmeyer on the point. Newmeyer plays this one around. Steelers going to battle back there again. Good work by the Steelers to get it into the corner, but there's Chris Miller pinching in. Influential is Chris Miller. He's such a good player, and a real difference is made to this Storm side whenever he plays. So Steelers bank that one down. This is going to be an icing call as Newmeyer goes back. But Miller and Newmeyer have been two of the Kurt Kleinendorf's players that seem to have come on. And since Miller's come back from Switzerland, have really steadied Terry Christensen's ship.
Well, and it needed steadying, didn't it? I mean, they're still playing under 500 hockey, which means life's very difficult at the moment for the Manchester Storm. Their own fans are on their backs from time to time. They're still drawing the crowds at home. I mean, over 10,000 for their game against Cardiff over the Christmas holiday period, so they can still pull them in, but it's a question of providing a product the fans want to watch. And what the Manchester Storm fans really want to see at the moment is winning hockey, but they're getting at least entertaining hockey at the moment.
As the Steelers freeze their puck in their own zone. Mike Torture has been very strong since he's come into the net. 10 minutes and 9 seconds remaining then. And with a score of Sheffield Steelers 4, the Manchester Storm 4 here at the House of Steel in South Yorkshire. It's Colin Hazelden who's going to take you through to the end of the game.
And the weather outside will be familiar to those people on the ice who are natives of places like... Snow is coming down, but that's where the stormy conditions have stayed for the time being. Game calmed down rather. We've had Kevin Brown from the Manchester Storm thrown out to add to the earlier ejections, but that was perhaps because of talking out of turn to referee Simon Kirkham. Unwise, given that many people would think that Kirkham has let quite a few players off. They're just desserts in this particular game after the mass brawl that broke out in the second period. Story of the third so far, the Steelers getting back on even terms. 4 apiece now between the Sheffield Steelers and the Manchester Storm. The momentum, Seth Bennett, with the Steelers.
It is, but one thing the Steelers are going to have to watch out for is going to be fatigue. They didn't get home from Newcastle till 1 o'clock this morning. With such an early face-off, it means that players will have been down at the rink from probably about 11 o'clock. That's not a whole lot of sleep for a hockey player.
No, they like their sleep. In goes Metcalf then. In behind the net, he's going to look for an opening out in front. He twists and turns, and he feeds it out in front, but there was no one waiting there. Mazzoli's there to cover up. Miller pushes Metcalf away as Metcalf went in. Metcalf asks if he really wants some. Miller talks back, and that's not really going to go anywhere. Neither of them are going to want that, and Metcalf will know he's on a warning, and that if he steps out of line one more time, he will see the inside of the dressing room very, very early indeed. Questions being asked now of Mazzoli. Is he all right? Is his equipment damaged or something like that? Conversation going on. Maybe it's Simon Kirkham saying he'll do the protecting.
He seems to be a very jumpy goaltender, really, from what we've seen of him so far. This is actually his first chance to play hockey in Britain, so no wonder he's a little bit jumpy. And
a surprising chance as well, because Trofimenkov pulled from the game after conceding those 2 early goals, which sent the Sheffield Steelers 2-0 up. Great interception there by Flickle, just to disrupt the attack, but Vial's pushed forward on the forecheck, try and win the puck, and he's done so successfully. Norris is going to chase it towards this near side then, pokes it forward. Vial chases it in, just holds his man up long enough for Metcalf to pick things up. Circle. Vial doing the holding job again as Metcalf tries to force his way through, jam the puck into the crease, and then Dennis Vial goes crashing into the net over the top of Mazzoli, followed in by half the Manchester Storm players out on the ice, trying to protect their goaltender and simultaneously kicking their own goaltender into the back of the net, so it seems. Oh, now Simon Kirkham is going to put Dennis Vial in the penalty box, and for me, Dennis Vial was chasing the puck in there, and it was a legitimate play, but he's going to go for a 2-minute set.
2 minutes for cross-checking's a sign. I think that's terrible. I mean, sorry, it's a hard job officiating, but players play hard. They like to play hard. They know their job, and Dennis Vial is a hard, tough, physical player, and he's going to go chasing pucks. He's going to go and get in the face of the goaltender, and nothing happened there. It wasn't kicking off. All they needed to do, reset the puck, get the face-off in the zone, and there you go.
Yes, 2 minutes for cross-checking against Dennis Vial. That's a rough call, I think, on Dennis Vial. I think that's one of those calls he perhaps got because of his reputation more than because of something he did. Nevertheless, the Manchester Storm are on the power play, a power play which has been phenomenally successful so far in this game. 3 out of their 4 goals have come when they've been a man up, and that's against the best penalty kill in the league. So the Steelers' penalty kill really not up to its usual standard here at the House of Steel this afternoon, and the Storm will want to capitalise once again. They're already putting the pressure on. Torchy is there to clear it away. Johnson trying to hold it in. unable to do so as it skipped over his stick, and then he hooked, surely, Kent Simpson to the ice. There was a request for a call from Warren Norris, but the referee Simon Kirkham has said no, it wasn't a hook. Perhaps he thinks that Simpson went looking for it, perhaps he didn't see it, who knows. McCosh just tries to poke it clear. Away goes Rick Brabant now. He's all on his own. Skating forward, still manages to get the shot off, just manages to drag it wide. He was looking for the corner just below Mazzoli's left foot, but only managed to drag it wide. But they've kept possession, the Sheffield Steelers, and this is the kind of penalty killing the statistics would suggest they do all the time. As they get it up, Dale Craigwell just wisely lets that go under his stick, so he can go for a line change while the Storm pick it up from behind their own net. Miller, still Miller, through neutral ice, flicks it forward on the forehand. Sebastian's there, should be able to clear this if he's sensible around the boards, but that's held in well by Bullock. Bullock just drops it off to Flickle. Flickle behind the net to Gallant. Bullock steps across him. Gallant feeds it out to Bullock. He's got Miller waiting on the blue line, finds him. Miller thinks about the shot, doesn't take it, feeds it back inside as well. The shot comes in from Bullock and goes high over the net. Norris flicks it out on the backhand. Miller tries to bring it down in neutral ice with a stick up to shoulder high, unsuccessfully. Mazzoli's out of his net and waited until the very last minute to pass that underneath Kent Simpson. So here they go again with Bullock, who created many of those opportunities. Fed it to his left to Flickle. Flickle behind for Bullock in to chase it. Fished out by Gallant. Gallant feeds it out again towards the blue line, again towards Miller. This is a good unit for the Manchester Storm. They're playing well. Last moments of this penalty, last 5 seconds before the Steelers are back up to full strength, but the Storm have it set up and they'll want to keep that way. Steelers back to full strength as Miller fires it in. Loose puck into the back of the net from the Manchester Storm. That was a bouncing loose puck, and the Steelers are angry and anxious, and none more so than Mike Torchia, who stepped out to try and stop the first shot. So when it went past, bounced out in front, it was free to be tucked home. Not sure who got the final tip. Maybe Seth Bennett saw it. Whoever got it, it's Steelers 4, Storm 5.
There's little Gallant, who's been a thorn in the side of the Sheffield Steelers all evening long, and the reason the Steelers were upset is from the shot, the puck ended up on the back of the net, actually sitting on the netting, and Gallant chopped it off and then hacked it in. In most occasions, the referee Simon Kirkham would have usually blown his whistle at that point because the puck would be considered dead.
But it's like holding the puck, isn't it? You've got 2 seconds or so just to get the puck off the back of the net, and if you can do so, play goes on, and that's what the referee has ruled. 6:44 left in the game then. Steelers trail yet again after jumping into the early lead. They've only ever been behind. Longstaff trying to get it out, trying to get it down here. Craigwell unable to do so, and away will come the Manchester Storm. Mike Morin it is, not seen a lot of him. He'll want to take the shot, he does so, kicked away by Torchia. Check goes in. Steelers trying to clear. Longstaff has it, so skillful, plays it out to his left towards McCosh, eager to jump into the play now. They drive it in, they get the shot, kicked away, and it's a 2-on-1 coming the other way. Morin's free and clear. Morin's free and clear. Adam Smith is across to try and block him. He gets the pass across towards Bullock. Bullock just pushed off the play. Simpson will go away now. Simpson for the Sheffield Steelers. God, he can move, can Simpson. Simpson trying to pull it back to Baraldo. Can't quite do so. Simpson goes behind. Baraldo picks it up. Simpson picks it up again. Circles onto the face-off dot. Back to the blue line. Here's Short to drive it in. That's blocked. Bounces kindly. Here's Simpson again. Simpson to flick it in. Just goes wide. Carpenter picks it up. Sheffield Steelers trying to get back on terms yet again. Simpson circles back towards Carpenter, comes off a stick, penalty given, and it'll go against Rick Brabant. In fact, there's going to be 2 penalties called here. I think both Mazzoli and Brabant are going to be called for that little tussle in front of the net there. There's a slashing call, and I think that's going to be against there's going to be a slashing call against Rick Brabant, and I think there's going to be a slashing call against Mazzoli as well.
Yeah, that's what's happened. That's a good call from Simon Kirkham. Give him, well, basically the praise he deserves there. There's been less hacking and chopping from Lumberjacks this year than there was just out in front of the goal there, as Brabant was trying to get in the face of Mazzoli, really trying to disrupt things, and Mazzoli turned around, gave Brabant one across the back of the legs, and Brabant just turned around and gave him one straight back across the knees.
Well, Mazzoli's gone down, and he probably has reason to, because there was a whole big tussle going on there, but that's going to disrupt things as far as the Steelers are concerned. They were just trying to get motoring there, and that's good disruption. But looking down at Trofimenkov here, there is something wrong with Mazzoli. There's certainly no sign of it on the bench, because Trofimenkov's not looking to move.
Never mind, there's nothing wrong with him. The physio's come on the ice. He got slashed in the back of the legs, and she's given it the finger across his eyes to make sure that he's perfectly conscious. He just didn't want to make sure that he drew the penalty and he didn't get the extra misconduct for going down rather easily. I think that was the case there, so no wonder Dave Trofimenkov didn't look too upset about that.
Well, there's a conversation going on between physio and goaltender just down beneath us. Trofimenkov, who was pulled. a little bit earlier on. I don't think that's going to come to anything. I think as Mazzoli shakes his head a little bit, it's 4-on-4, which will open things up probably on the Storm's favour. That Rick Brabant's off, having conversations, Paul Lady and Carpenter just trying to organise what's going to happen if the face-off doesn't go their way. It hasn't. Robinson picks it up for the Storm and bounces it behind his own net towards Johnson. They get it out towards the right-hand side. Johnson feeds it to Flickle. Flickle's found Bullock, and Bullock's away now. He's got Shaw behind him. Bullock fires high and home. Oh, great goal from Bullock. Really great goal from Bullock. He was released free and clear, and there was no messing because he knew he had Cale Short breathing down his neck, and he put it high glove side, and usually that's where Torture's so strong. Not this time, and have the Storm wrapped it up. Sheffield Steelers 4, Manchester Storm 6.
Well, the Steelers are struggling, and before this game, Mike Blaisdell said, this is a 6-5 hockey game. If this is a 7-6 hockey game, I'm not going to be very happy because it means we've not played our game. We've played their game. And the Storm, give them credit tonight, have lured the Steelers out, and they really deserve to be ahead right now, and they are ahead, and the Steelers need to pull something out of the bag here if they want to get back involved.
Great vision from Flickle to see Bullock. Great work from Bullock to get clear. Here comes Dale Craigwell for the Steelers. He drops it off now. Metcalf turns, circles, fires it in, looking for the tip from Adam Smith. Doesn't get it. Craigwell, we're 4-on-4, remember. Craigwell over on that far side in a tussle with Miller. The puck has popped free. No one's there to get it. Now it's picked up by Smith. Smith doesn't have many options, so he just tried to push it forward, ran straight to Pierre Allard, and then kicks it clear. No calls on the little tussle there, despite what the fans wanted. Metcalf goes round and behind, skates forward now, crosses the Storm blue line between his legs. Here's Sebastian. Sebastian, gentle shot, trickles in. Oh, you didn't deserve that because Sebastian really didn't get hold of that on Metcalf's pass. He just kind of flicked it towards Mazzoli. That's the first big mistake Mazzoli's made. And with the Storm just going 2 goals ahead, that could be massive. Came off the top of his glove, trickled behind him, couldn't scramble back fast enough to get it clear, and it dribbled into the back of the net. Big goal for the Sheffield Steelers, and it might be a 6-5 game, but the Steelers are suddenly back in it. Sheffield Steelers 5, Manchester Storm 6.
And the frustration, if you're Mike Blaisdell right now, is why whenever the Storm score, the Steelers come back very, very strongly and don't seem to be able to score at will.
It's a question for them. Longstaff circles. Back he goes. We're still 4-on-4, remember. The game has opened up completely because of that. Longstaff pushes it forwards towards Short. Short controlling the puck and then dumping it. Beraldo is on the chase there for the Steelers. And the Storm clear it. Here's Flickle. And yet again he's got Bullock over on the left-hand side. This time Bullock is going to be well pleased, though, by McCosh, who's left him now to go across and to pick up that puck. Short collects. Beraldo. Beraldo holding the puck inside. That's surely offside. Longstaff straight off. Thought Beraldo was going to go. Beraldo was holding it for a while longer. We'll have a moment's reflection for both teams.
That's something that coaches will be tearing their hair out in and around the league. Somebody with Paul Beraldo's experience and ability knows at this stage in the game the Steelers require a goal. What he needs to do is get the puck in the zone before he starts dipsy-doodling around the zone. What he did, he came to the blue line and just went east-west instead of going north-south and heading towards the goal. And I think that's something that Mike Blaisdell surely would be very upset about and will mention to him on the bench. And Beraldo will know what he's done. And part of that maybe is just to be the fact that he's probably quite tired now. He's had 3 fights and a couple of assists and two and a half tough periods of the game so far.
Yeah, it's been 2.5 very tough periods, haven't they? It's been a long game of hockey, 2 tired teams. Simpson with the puck, and we might see more goals because of that, because of the mistakes that will surely follow. Sebastian trying to push it behind, intercepted by Miller, cleared by Miller as far as Neumeier. Neumeier pushes it out to Gallant on the right-hand side. Gallant's made his way past Rick Brabant, who's fallen over. Rick Brabant is going to come back now. Rick Brabant coming away. Just for a moment, it was 2-on-2, it still is 2-on-2. Weaver's behind him, Weaver's picked it up. Weaver with the shot, tried to flick it across instead towards Brabant, I think. But there was another stick in there. Brabant goes in for a hard hit on Morin. Fired in, bounces off the boards. Johnson's there, trying to get it clear, can get it into neutral ice. Smith, backhand, Brabant. Got Norris. Norris going through the middle. Norris bursting on through. Can't quite make it stick as 2 defensemen, Robinson and Johnson, came from either side to smother him there. Morin on the puck now. As Storm struggle to clear, and they are struggling to clear. They've got it to Johnson. They will finally get it to neutral ice under control. Johnson drives it in from distance towards Torture. Torture controls. It clears towards neutral ice, held up. It went just enough over the blue line to provoke the offside call, and everything will breathe again. 2:52 left. Steelers still got a goal to find here. What do you do if you're Mike Blaisdell?
Well, what can he do? He's got to tell his forwards they've got to go out and do the business. They've got to tell the defensemen that, hold on, this is the Sheffield Steelers' chance, really, to take this game and take a hold of this league. With the results that have gone their way over the Christmas period, the Sheffield Steelers will be looking for this situation where they need 3 points out of tonight. And if they can't accept 3 points, as that was huge high sticks from Flickle, as now we see Norris and Flickle, are they going to go?
Well, it's Metcalf going away at the other end and actually looking to do something with the puck. Well, that's not going to happen, and now the referee's going to call it, and everyone hesitated then. And really, from a Steelers point of view, you can't understand that. Manchester will be happy that everyone waited. There's a bit of push and shove, and now Norris wants a little bit, and foolishly he's let his gloves go, and Flickle's there, and referee Kirkham will have seen that. Norris was there to drop his gloves, and still there's pushing and shoving, and the Manchester Storm players quite happy now. They can have all the push and shove they like, because they're a goal to the good. And the Sheffield Steelers, really, they just want to be getting on playing hockey. And Norris is responding to some taunts, and he probably doesn't want to be doing that. He wants to be skating away from that right now.
Tell you what, Warren Norris, one of the great talkers in British ice hockey. The whole time he's out on the ice, he's yapping and talking. Him and Vezio Sacratini seem to be two that just get under the skin of other players. And Warren Norris is... he's got quite a short temper. He doesn't like to be pushed around. I mean, who does like to be pushed around? And he likes to show that he's not scared to drop the gloves. He's not actually fought since he got over to British hockey. He's tried a few times, but every single time the linesmen seem to just about have got there in time. But Warren Norris, really, it's a bit of indiscipline. He should have just been quiet. On the flip side of it, though, look at who he's taken with him. That's Marty Flickle, and Marty Flickle has been outstanding for the Manchester Storm this evening.
Well, it's 2 2-minute penalties up on the board at the moment. We'll get confirmation of them in just a moment, but there's going to be a face-off down beneath this. Brabant lost out, and back it goes to Neumeier for the Manchester Storm. Will be quite happy to take all the time he likes as they skate 4-on-4 at the moment. Neumeier out towards his right, towards former Steeler Brent Bobick. Brent Bobick carrying the puck, stopping. Nice work from Bobick. Can't get the feed inside, though. Just held up there. Smith will try and clear it. Took a deflection. Rick Brabant gloves it down, puts it at his feet. Gets it out towards his right, towards Shane McCosh in the right winger's position. Drops it off for Brabant now to occupy his more usual position. Driving in. That just went wide. Very close indeed from Rick Brabant to the equaliser there. Torture out of his net. He knows the urgency of the situation for the Steelers. Here comes McCosh then on the long pass. McCosh to drive. Kicked away. Will he get another opportunity? He does. He picks it up once again. He drives it in once again. Shot goes through into the back of the net. Another mistake from Mazzoli, and looks around for someone to blame. But there's no one to blame but himself. McCosh, the second of two shots. It came from the blue line. It went through traffic. What an extraordinary game we've had here at the Sheffield Arena. Just inside the final 2 minutes, and the Steelers have equalised yet again. Sheffield Steelers 6, Manchester Storm 6.
Wow, what a game of ice hockey. You want goals? We got it. You want fights? We got it. You want controversial decisions? We got it. Oh my word, what a privilege it has been to be here at the Sheffield Arena. The Steelers have tied this up through Shane McCosh, his second goal of the night, quite possibly considered by many to be the best defenseman in the league, and he's stepping up to the plate, and this evening has showed just how good he is, as we're seeing a timeout called by the Sheffield Steelers, and as Mike Blaisdell, by the Manchester Storm, by looking at the direction, you can't actually call, I don't think you can call a timeout right after a goal.
The referee thinks you can, so you can. That's the situation. We've got 1 minute 59 left. It's 6 goals apiece. Now, if you're the Sheffield Steelers at the moment, are you looking for the winner in normal time here? You're the more tired team, aren't you?
But you have momentum. And that man, Mo, when he jumps on your back, you've got to ride him. The Steelers have to try and win, because the 3 points here could put them in a difficult position for the rest of the league and really set the Sheffield Steelers up. With the match on Thursday night they have against the London Knights, to give them almost an unassailable lead if they're able to win down at the London Docklands Arena. That could give them the title, or the best shot at getting the title early on.
Snowstorm outside, gold blizzard inside here. Sheffield Steelers going once again over on that left-hand side with Craigwell. Craigwell couldn't carry it forward. Here's Longstaff to Sebastian. Back into his own zone. He won't want to make a mistake now. To goal scorer, 2-goal scorer, McCosh. Back to Sebastian, who's had one of his own this evening. Out towards Craigwell. Craigwell still going. Craigwell in towards the high slot, feeds it to Longstaff. Longstaff inside. He was looking for McCosh, driving the net. McCosh had just been held up. McCosh, unaccustomed once again in that right wing position, trying to feed it in on the backhand, unable to do so. Robinson to Johnson. Maybe he's going to be better going forward. Johnson in towards Bobbick. We've seen a lot of Bobbick this evening. Whistle goes for offside. Steelers will be happy about that. Manchester Storm left so. 1 minute and 15 seconds left in regulation time. I'm not betting against overtime here. I think it's going to come, but with the way the goals have gone in, you wouldn't be surprised at anything at all. Fans had been leaving the building. They've stopped. They've come back in. They thought it was all over. It's not by any means. And around us now, the Steelers fans are beginning to stand and try and will their team on. Towards that far end, Manchester Storm, they brought a lot of fans across the Pennines. They're going to struggle to get home in the snow. But they must have been happy and unhappy and happy and unhappy. With every passing moment of this game, it's seesawed up and down the whole time. Steelers then with Rick Brabant. Rick Brabant, assistant coach, left-hand side. Turns, circles. Pushes it forward. Smith on the chase. Into the corner. Smith gets it. Adie's waiting. Smith just trying to find a move that'll get him free and clear. Gets it out to the blue line towards Brabant. Brabant back down towards Adie. We're back 5 on 5. Shot driven in straight into Mazzoli from Carpenter.
And you look at the score sheet now this evening for the Sheffield Steelers. You look at the goals and you see a goal from Carpenter, a goal from Jeff Sebastian, and 2 from Shane McCosh, and he shows just how vital it is to get the offensive output from these guys that are able to do it.
And on the other side, of course, from Manchester Storm, their work's all come on the power play, hasn't it? That's where they've really taken this game to the Sheffield Steelers.
And 2 fantastic performances from Trevor Gallant and also from Marty Flickle, who have played beautiful hockey in times that have been very, very trying, where the Steelers have been going out there looking to really hit and rough up the Manchester Storm. But those 2 have just played outstanding hockey all night long. 43
seconds left, and the Storm have come away for a moment. They are 3 on 2, right-hand side, the villain of the piece. As far as the Steelers are concerned, Corey Spring hooked into the boards, hold his man, net off his moorings. Whistle will go. We'll have a face-off, and that was Robinson there crashing into the net.
The intensity of this match is somewhat rather similar to a playoff hockey game. Whereas you saw there, the Storm were breaking down the ice. David Longstaff turned, and he absolutely gave everything he had to get back to make sure there wasn't a 3 on 2, so he could pick up any loose pucks and any loose men that are travelling towards the net.
Everyone's worked terribly hard here. It might not have been pretty, especially not during that big old brawl, but it has been hard working, and the goals have certainly come. We've seen some corkers, I mean some really good goals, and a couple at the end of mistakes by Mazzoli, the goaltender, will be disappointed. Maybe for the 6th goal you could argue he didn't see it coming through traffic, but he'll be very disappointed at the 5th he conceded, because that shot should never have found its way through. Steelers with possession, bouncing it off the board. Longstaff is on the chase and he's up against Miller. Miller surely will get there first for the icing. He does. Longstaff says, I got my stick on it first, and he's probably right, because it was Miller's skate.
Well, that's right. Miller had his stick up on the plexiglass. Longstaff had his stick on the ice. His stick was in between the puck and the skate. Leaves you with one conclusion to draw from that. Well, it's a tough decision, though. I mean, that's a bang-bang play for the linesman to call. And in this situation, probably icing was a correct call. Yeah,
safety first, I think it's going to be from the officials. 22 seconds left then in the game. 6 apiece. It looks like we're going to overtime. The shot is driven in by the Manchester Storm, and overtime, and perhaps even penalties, would be a fitting end to this game. Longstaff fires it across towards Craigwell. Here goes Craigwell, left-hand side. He's got a man waiting in front. It's Norris. Norris has picked it up. We've only got 7 seconds left, and he's lost the puck. So it'll be the Storm will have something to make in this last 3, 2, 1 second. Shot driven in, bounced off the board. There goes the hooter. Then we're winding up towards overtime, 6 apiece between the Steelers and the Storm. Let me remind you of the rules of this part of the game. We're going to skate 4 on 4, which you could argue favours the Storm. We'll talk about that in just a moment. We're going to do it for 5 minutes, sudden death overtime. First goal wins it, just like the games you used to play at home when you use jumpers for goalposts. Street hockey, first goal wins it. Simple as that, even though the game finished 13-6 to one team or the other. So next goal wins it. If there's no winner at the end of that, we're going to have penalty shots. And we'll wait and see what happens there. I mean, that just does turn into a lottery there. And the way the goaltenders are played, who knows what could happen in penalty shots. It could go on forever, the way this game has been played. So we wait for overtime. A few of the fans have taken the chance just to go out and take a break. The whistle goes. 4 on 4. Seth Bennett, does it favour the Storm?
Well, is the considered response. I think it's going to be very even, to be honest. Neither team will want to make a mistake, and both teams will be looking to capitalise on every opportunity that's available. The Steelers have got some very skilled players with a lot of speed. but so did Storm and Flickle and Gallant, who are the two guys out there now. But I'll tell you what, the 7,500 people that are in this arena, they've got their money's worth tonight, haven't they?
They certainly have. Well, period's underway, period of overtime, first 2.5 minutes of it in the capable hands of Seth Bennett.
Robinson then back in his own zone, plays it wide, and that was a very tired looking pass by Robinson. He gets it back though, he's going to try and come forward, he gets stopped. It's Flickle and Norris meet up. The Steelers look to come forward again. Scott Metcalf can't get that pass from Smith, so Robinson brings it back forward, fires this one in from a long distance. And the Steelers take it back through Sebastian. He goes to Norris. Norris looks up and then plays it up the ball towards Metcalf. Metcalf holds on, he uses his body well, but Glant's back there for the Manchester Storm, and the Storm are going to look to attack on the far side. Great hit on Flickle by Adam Smith. That was lovely. Really used his legs and his body to drive Flickle into the plexiglass. As Paul Beraldo comes down the ice now. Beraldo looking to make some moves. Still Beraldo. Oh, he's got great hands. Beraldo looks up. Looks to make a pass now. Still Beraldo's going to fire this one round the boards. McCosh is there. Is he looking for the hat-trick? He holds onto the puck on his near side boards. He looks to just play this one around, and there's going to be some tired bodies at New Year's Eve parties tonight as Beraldo gets his back. Brabant fires the bobbling puck, but couldn't get a hold of that one. Miller looking to come away for the Manchester Storm. Good work by Brabant as Beraldo is going to go for a line change for the Steelers. The Steelers have got Longstaff out there now with Brabant. It's going to come to Brabant as he goes into the zone. He drops this one off to Longstaff. Longstaff top of the circle, snaps a goal! Scores David Longstaff! And the Steelers have won this in overtime. It's been a battle in every area of the ice. And there was David Longstaff to snap it home off the feed from Rick Brabant. And the Steelers maintain top position at the top of the league. And you can't blame the Manchester Storm. They've come and put a fantastic effort in here at the Sheffield Arena. But there's one team that's been victorious, and that's the league-leading Sheffield Steelers.
Perhaps indicative of the kind of luck they've had all season, the way things just seem to be rolling for this Sheffield Steelers team. And it seems an extraordinary thing to say on New Year's Eve, but we're still struggling to find a serious contender to this side, the way things are rolling for them. We'll watch the lineups because it'll be interesting to see whether anything develops here. There's sure to be a few conversations going on, usually all sweetness and light at moments like this, but we've known times when it's not been. You've got to think perhaps it's down to Matsoli. Maybe Matsoli, when he came into the Storm goal, he seemed calm enough when he didn't have much to deal with. You know, he had the odd shot to deal with. The moment the Steelers really started coming at him, he started struggling. The one that tipped off the top of his glove, you think maybe that threw his confidence, and that really did it for him in the end. And after that, he was never quite the same goaltender. And when he was seeing things through traffic, he wasn't really seeing them, and he was really struggling. And the handshakes have all gone well. Back to the blue lines we go. It's been absolutely extraordinary here at the Sheffield Arena. It really has. Great game to bring you. Absolutely fantastic. Really glad to have you along for it.
It's been a real privilege, to be quite honest, to be able to bring such a fantastic game where both teams have left everything they have out on the ice.
Yeah, goaltenders Trofimenkov and Matsoli having a bit of a conversation on the Storm blue line there. And away the presentations will go. Just down beneath us. The introductions being made for the various awards and prizes just down beneath us. We're going to bring you that. We're going to bring you a reaction to this game. We're going to find out what players and coaches thought about what went on here on the ice this evening. We'll be back with that later after this.